All right, just want to remind, we ready?
Yes.
Just want to remind everybody that the council meetings will be audio and video taped. They'll be shown on the Township of Ocean's Community Cable Channel, Channel 22 on Verizon Fios, and Channel 77 on Cablevision. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Napolitani?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Donovan?
Here.
Councilmember Zachara?
Here.
Fisher?
Here.
Terry?
Yes.
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster, posted in Town Hall and filed in the office of the municipal clerk on December 8, 2022. Let's start our items for discussion, various township projects. Greg, go ahead, start it off.
Mr. Mayor, if I may interrupt.
Yes.
Could we allow the new department heads are here to just introduce themselves as per the request of council?
This way we can get them in and get them out.
There we go, Mayor.
Who do we want to start with first? Look at this. We got a lot of newbies here.
We'll start with Steve since
Let's start with the
you were
Higgs.
here first, right?
I'll go along with that. Hey everybody, Steve Higgins, your new Public Works Director. I'll be taking over permanently, or until you get tired of me. The end of this month, for Mark's retirement. If you have any questions, I've got 30 years of Public Works experience. Hold a lot of licenses, you know, because I have an addiction to education, so I've amassed quite a few of those. Yeah, if you have any questions from me, please fire away.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve's been doing a good job since he's been here.
I
Awesome.
can say from my point of view, I work very well with him.
Yes,
Great.
thank you.
Easy-going guy.
Excellent.
Steve, not to put you on the spot, but is there anything you need from us at this juncture?
Juncture.
Tell them to approve the capital budget.
I mean, you know, you got our ears, so is there anything that you need at this moment right now to make your job better?
I think probably starting off with a new vehicle would be a little too much.
But no, seriously though, the capital budget has a lot in it for the public works, so
Yeah,
that's where we need the first and foremost help.
Well,
We
we're
gotta
here
get
for
them a
you,
new
so.
fleet.
I thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Anybody else?
We got Ken.
Want to tell them who you guys are?
Oh, sure.
Oh, I still asking questions? I'm sorry, I jumped the gun.
I'm sorry.
No, I said maybe
Introduce ourselves.
Yourself, yeah.
Oh,
themselves.
that might help.
Yeah.
I'm Dave Fisher, by the way.
Fish, yes, once
Yes, we
more, I
did.
believe in the park.
Yes, we did, yep.
Yes. Margie Donlin. we
Got
also
your
met.
Memorial Day.
And we met.
John,
Good to see you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
You got it.
I know you, Jess.
Kelly Terry.
Kelly, good to meet you.
Matthew, good.
Matthew, good to meet you as well.
He's the
We
town
know each
attorney.
other.
He's the town attorney. He's got to keep track of trouble.
Watch that guy.
Steve, we're really looking forward to you coming on board. You know, we're excited about it, and, you know, we wish you the best of luck. If you need anything from us, just ask Dave. Dave Brown, that is.
Great.
Yeah, welcome aboard. And if, seriously, if you need anything, just let us know.
I will, thank you.
Okay, Steve,
Thank you
thanks.
very much.
Yes.
Steve, you want to leave, you can, nobody else is in here.
Run.
Yeah, you can get out, run out of here right now.
No, I got it.
Especially before Chera starts firing off questions.
All right, have a good evening.
You too,
everybody.
Steve.
All right, next up.
Ken Pieslak, I'm the new code enforcement administrator. I come here with 25 years of law enforcement experience and about 20 years of code enforcement experience since my law enforcement career. Look forward to a great relationship here. I've already experienced good work within the departments here as far as you call someone and ask for some help and you got it right away. Additionally, I'm very pleased with my team. They're very hardworking and there's plenty of work to be done in the township. It doesn't stop.
So Ken, you've got a mammoth job, you know, dealing with, especially now in the summertime. You know, it's been our, you know, contention here as, you know, as the council that we just want to make sure that the municipality is looking good, looks the part, and you know, that we're firm, fair, and consistent across the board. Really, that's what we're looking for.
Yes. Yep. And I think the whole team in the office is on board with that, and they do work diligently every day.
And again, if you need anything from us, we're here. We're looking forward to you being on board as well. Very excited again, to have. I mean, we've got a lot of new faces here in the last 2 years. It's good. So, anybody around the horn, you got questions or?
No, I just want to say I met Ken at Clean Sweep, and I had noted, I was walking around the neighborhood and noticed a grass that was really high and mentioned it to him, and he followed up right away and got back to me. So I'm really happy that you're here, and I'm looking forward to the direction that you're going to take the department. So it's appreciated.
Anyone else?
John, what's his title?
Director of Code Enforcement.
Code enforcement, okay, thank you.
Thanks, Ken.
Okay, thank you very
Escape,
much.
get out.
Yes. Have a great evening.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Nice to see you again.
Good seeing you.
Bill Laird, I'm the new tax assessor. I come from most recently Toms River Township. Very pleased to get out of there. Township resident. Mayor's my neighbor down the street.
That's so cool.
Nice part of town. But I come for 13 years I've been in property taxation. So I'm here to just do my job objectively and fairly and.
So you are in the wrong business.
Matthew.
Supposed to be for the town.
So, any questions? Anything I can help you guys with? Or?
You too have a mammoth position.
I know.
So get ready around, when does he get his complaint calls? They come in around November?
As soon as they send out
Soon
the
as
new
you-
taxes, which just should be a week or so.
September I think his predecessor took the bulk of it.
Good.
He came in at a good
The
time.
absolute worst time is coming up in the next 2 weeks.
Right.
Okay.
This is when folks have their tax bill. There's no appeal process for it. It's just,
Oh yeah, but he just struck the rate, right?
Yeah, the
He
rate-
just told me in the hallway
the
here.
rate is struck, so bills
So
will
we're
be going
good.
out. So I'm gonna field all those calls. I'm gonna be polite.
We had, you and I had spoken briefly in the office here, or maybe at that one event that we were at. I like the idea of potentially getting you out into the senior communities for us to explain some of the,
Somebody's doing
Stay
that.
in Jay.
Yes,
Yes,
Susie's doing it.
Susie
Tax
Healy.
collector.
So maybe
So
just
Susie's going out, but
We were,
Yep.
John, we were talking about having a meeting, inviting, say, hey, to explain and ask questions.
yeah, but Susie's actually going to like Cedar Village, Rolling Meadows, that's
Yeah,
the plan?
through- She's doing it through Sharon.
Yep.
We're at with the senior program.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah.
being done.
Anchor program and all
I
that.
think
Yeah.
my role would be better in like November.
Right.
The assessments come out.
Yeah.
Yep.
There we go.
That's
I
where
agree
I
with
was
that.
going with that
Yeah,
one.
if we
Yeah.
could set some road tours up around November,
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to help you with that. And that-
Yeah.
We'll connect you with Sharon. She's the director of human services and
Yeah.
in charge of the senior programs.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
The thing with those communities are just communication, and once they're educated and understand how the rate works, how it goes on, I think it'll go a long way for us also as council members, because it's those are the communities that we receive a lot of the concerns, because there's not necessarily a total understanding of the bill and the rate and everything else. So I think that if we can get out there, and just explain and go through just information, that's
Yeah, I
it.
agree, and I'm more than happy to help you out with
No,
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Great.
I think also to add Stay in Jay in that program too.
Yeah.
Education about that program as it
Yeah.
comes out and we learn more about it. Making sure people know for seniors.
But I don't think it's limited to seniors that have
Yeah, no,
consternation about our taxes.
Oh,
Yeah, I
for
mean,
sure.
we had-
Yeah, but this will hit a huge number of seniors, not just lower
Most of the
income
time-
seniors. The income limit is like, 500,000 or 400,000 or
Right.
something like that. It's really high. So it's pretty broad.
Okay.
Yeah,
deal.
so Susan is out, she has something planned.
Yeah.
She-
Just-
I think I just saw something like the 15th.
Yeah.
There's going to be a difference between what Bill's going to get. Hey, there's no way I could sell my house for this much. Questions
Versus explaining
versus
programs.
explaining the
A
tax
process.
program. Yeah,
Yeah.
unless we're going to get a lot more of it's surprising we get a lot of parsonage applications, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, the temple has to buy for the rabbi, so therefore it's tax exempt. But that, explaining the demonstration program is really the main,
bulk of the program.
well, it's the main thing that Bill will be dealing with.
Yeah.
Dave's got a good point, though. I mean, Jake really took the bulk of the hit last year because of the assessments.
So he took the bulk of the hit with the assessments, which
But now the bills are coming.
my opinion is that's much easier, because if you have an issue, we can still work that out and through an appeal.
There's no
At this point,
recourse.
They have no appeal.
this
Done
is
deal.
harder, because now there is no remedy.
Yeah.
It's,
The rate is the rate.
you have your tax bill and you have to pay it.
All right.
And if you have an issue with your assessment, we have to talk for next year.
Mm-hmm.
So Jake did what he did and he scrammed.
Exactly.
Jake, if you're watching, thanks.
So that's the difference between November and July.
Right.
Yeah.
It's nothing we can do, and we can do something
Yeah.
if there's an issue.
Well, again, same thing to everybody else. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Again, we're looking forward to you being here in the municipality, and the fact that you live here is I think, a really big plus for us. You're up the street from me, so I can come see you anytime.
Sure.
He's not gonna do
You have
it.
the rain, right?
We were by her house, the kids were in their little pink Jeep. I was like, the mayor's-
Yeah, just stop in next time. Tell Alexandra I said hello.
I will. So,
Anybody else have any other questions?
No? Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Switch.
Good to see you.
We'll see you, man.
See you.
Hello, my friend, how are you?
Good.
All right, Greg?
Yeah. First item was Joe Platt Park paving phase 3. That's going to be last week of July. Just got to confirm when the Italian American Club festival is. I don't think that's then.
I think it ends the 13th.
The 13th, yeah. So we
I believe.
planned it for after that. Next thing is the striping. Assuming that you approve the budget tonight. Striping, we're in the middle of the plans. We're going to get that out to bid by the end of the month. That's all the striping we talked about, the police and our
Yep.
bike lanes.
Yep.
Next one is 1001 Wickapecco. Contractor started, he's in the middle of demolition over there. We're just about, I think his permits are just about done at the building department, so he'll be starting the renovation work. South Edgemere bulkhead, that was paved today, the street, so the curb and pavement is all done over there. The striping will be done, centerline striping. I don't think there was any centerline striping there, but he's all done there and the repairs are all done.
So planting can begin when?
Full.
In the fall?
Yeah, the fall, yeah, because it was just dying out, because
Yeah.
nobody's gonna water it, unfortunately. Next one is pond dredgings. Those are we're going in process. We're pretty much on time. Those permits will be probably going out to the DEP at the end of the month for the 3 ponds. And then the last thing, second last thing, I met with Margie about the stormwater ordinances. We kind of went through the possible modifications to the existing state stormwater ordinances and could we make them more restrictive. Kind of went through that process, kind of explained that it's really not cost benefit or even quality beneficial to the town to inflict, more stringent records on our rules on the developers for that. The one thing that I am recommending though to help us with our stormwater runoff is I went through the ordinances for each of the residential zones specifically. And currently right now, we have allowed coverages in our residential zones of 75%. And if you look at most towns around us, they have 35%. So I'm recommending we go to 40%. So what that'll do is it's gonna put everybody who has more than that right now in a bad situation in the future, but most of those guys are already 100% built out anyway. But, when you're looking at it a lot, like I did it for 1 acre, the R1 zone, a 40,000 square foot lot. Right now, currently, he's allowed to put 30,000 square foot of impervious coverage on his property, which is huge. Because if you look at a house, if you're gonna build a 6,000 square foot house, which is a very sizable house, that's only a 3,000 square foot footprint. You go 2 stories, which most do. So that means if he's putting 30,000 square feet up, he's got 27,000 feet of driveway, tennis court, pool, and whatever else. It's just overburdening. So-
What is let me ask you this, Greg. The average house on a 100 by 100 lot, the average house, what percentage do they cover?
Usually it's around 20 to 25%.
Okay, so it's like 20 to
So it's like a
25%.
2,000 square foot footprint,
Right.
which is a 4,000 square foot house, which is a large house. for
Right, and we
10,000.
allow the 75% currently, and you wanna drop down to 40.
40,
Okay, and what do most municipalities at?
35.
35?
But if you look at it, I mean, even at 40%, it still allows you on a 40,000 square foot lot to have 16,000 square foot of coverage. So if you take out the 3,000 foot house, you still have 13,000 square feet for other amenities, which is huge.
Right.
So the only time this will come into play with existing is if they come in for an improvement.
Correct.
Then they'll be subject to the new ordinance.
Yes,
And they'll be subject to a variance.
A variance if they want to do anything. But the thing is, if somebody's coming in and say they want to replace something, they're not, because most of them can't put any more on there now, they're already maxed out. So to take out or renovate, there wouldn't be a variance, it's just, you're modifying it when you go to the board. 'Cause you
So they
just-
wouldn't get in trouble if they're just replacing what's existing.
Correct, because they're grandfathered.
Okay.
So like if they need a new pool deck, you just put a new pool deck in, it would just be a permit to put a new pool deck in, but no variance, no anything.
Provided it's the
Because you're
exact
replacing
same size
it. Right, or smaller,
or smaller.
yeah.
But if they wanna go bigger, they've got a
Then they
problem.
gotta go to the board, or
Okay.
take something else out.
Yeah.
You know, so like say if they wanna put a bigger cabana in, and they're gonna change the pool deck, so you make a little smaller pool deck to account for the little bigger cabana.
Gotcha.
So that's how, and they'll learn to do that. There's no question people avoid going to the planning board.
Like I say, it's not gonna overburden the planning board or the
No,
zoning board.
because most people won't go in there for such a small little variance. Because, and really, that's, I think, the message we kind of have to send to the planning board. You can't grant those variances anymore.
Yeah,
You know, when somebody comes in and says, well, you know, I used to get 75%, no more.
yeah.
It's that this has got to kind of, this is the new rule, and this is what we want to stick to help our stormwater runoff in town.
Exactly.
I think it's overdue, and I think
Yes,
it's,
because the problem we have is everything's going to the storm drainage, and what does everybody do? They complain about, hey, my street floods now.
right, right.
Well, that's because you have 75% coverage on your lot and you gave it to us.
Yeah.
So that's really where we're gonna bear the
Yeah.
burden of this eventually.
So what's the next step? We send it to the planning board?
So
Or-
we have to send this recommendation to the planning board, the planning board will have to change their ordinances accordingly per zone.
Do we recommend, like, vote on that, or just go ahead and say?
Wait, I'm sorry, that's back, I don't mean, but that's backwards. The council's gonna draft the ordinances.
Okay.
Zoning ordinance?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Don't mean to step on it. The council's drafting the
no,
ordinances.
Tell us how it gets done.
We'll introduce it, send it over to the planning board, and they'll say, yeah, this is in line with the master plan. If they're good with it, they'll send it back and the council can
Okay.
enact it. But
That's where I'm gonna jump in, because Mayor, you just came on board, but, and you should be in these meetings. We had a couple of master plan meetings. I think the last one we had was back in February, and we discussed this very topic. Didn't come up with a percentage, but we definitely wanted to lower it, so I like the 40. But I think we need to figure out, do we let the master plan process continue to flow, or do we just do the ordinance now?
I think we
Master
should do.
plan is supposed to be,
Dave, you're with me.
yeah, so the master plan is supposed to be now, like in the next couple of weeks, we're supposed to have that meeting, so the answer is we could knock this thing out.
Dave, what's the
Together.
time frame on this, with you having a meeting in a couple weeks for us to get the master plan over to the council so we can review and then get this thing put to bed?
I haven't heard from Ron Kirk, but the answer is,
We
Now.
need to find out where this
Yeah.
thing is so we can
Yep.
get this done, locked and over with.
Well, there's gonna be a two-parter to the master plan's gonna be
Right.
passed, enacted, adopted, but then you're gonna have to amend the ordinances.
Yep.
So
it's-
Dave,
So we should go ahead and do the ordinance. I mean, if we're okay with,
well,
you know,
Dave,
we don't
let
have to
me,
wait for the master
Fisher, let
plan.
me ask you this, what,
Sure, it's not
in the
proposed in
master
conflict.
plan, is this in the master plan, that recommendation of having
the number, we didn't have the number specifically, but we absolutely were doing
Said
this.
drop it.
Yeah, oh,
Okay.
big time, yeah.
Okay.
We had that
It was good to
conversation
go,
more
it's just we were working on a number, we didn't
Right.
settle on a number, that's
So
all.
maybe we can make our recommendation with our number officially with an ordinance, and then.
Yeah, we got it, it's done.
You might be
So-
right, but that's where we were at.
No, no, I
That's the
mean,
ordinance.
someone said like lower.
Hey,
than-
Dave, can you just check with Ron just to see, what's the?
Yeah, I got it, following up.
All right, good.
Because that should, like Councilman said, we need to get going.
Right, yeah, it's gone on too
Yeah.
long, so let's get it to bed,
So you're gonna pass the ordinance and then just make the master plan conform to it.
right?
So they match.
Yeah.
My only caveat that we probably should just talk to Ron Kirk about that.
Yeah,
I mean, it all sounds wonderful, but this may be duplicity, or it may be ready to go. It could be next week, it could be, I just want to get a specific date.
Right, but regardless, we can do the ordinance, so,
Or you may have it done before the ordinance is needed.
When's the
Master plan?
when's our next meeting?
August
Um,
3rd.
we don't-
August 3rd,
yeah.
okay.
And you don't have a problem doing multiple, like say if we do this ordinance now, and then the same section has to be amended again because of the master plan change?
I mean, I
So it
don't,
makes no difference.
doesn't make any difference. I mean, you could change it every week from a legal standpoint.
So we'll introduce it in.
Barring no issues with, Ron Kirk or Jim Higgins, then at the next meeting, we'll introduce it.
Sounds good to me.
Is that okay with you, Cal?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that.
Yeah,
The
that's
master
what I
plan's
wanna
not
do,
coming
too.
out next
I
week.
mean, if it's sitting on Ron's desk and all of a sudden it's done next week.
well,
you
it
know,
can't, it's
you know.
gotta
You-
go
don't you have
here,
public
it's gotta come
hearings?
to us.
That's what he's
first.
saying.
Yeah.
But if we're drafting the
Yeah.
ordinance
Yeah.
and the master plan's coming to us next week anyway, let the master plan ride. Like, let it go. Like,
Let me just
Yeah, I
get
don't
an
think it'll be
answer.
approved anytime soon.
no.
Yeah.
Because I know they're-
Wishful thinking?
Don't you
Okay.
need public,
Somewhere in
public
there.
meetings
Oh,
about
yeah,
it?
and then the
Typically, you'd have a
subgroup, which
public
now
meeting.
includes you, Mayor, still has to meet too.
We'll do the
Right.
ordinance.
We have to have
We'll
another
have the
meeting.
ordinance for
Yes.
the next meeting.
A subcommittee meeting, but
And
Dave,
I
let's,
should be part of that.
Dave, can we get that subcommittee meeting scheduled soon, and then,
Yep.
let's
We
come
need to
up with a
see the draft,
time frame
we
on
need the
sealing this thing up.
subcommittee.
Yep. Greg, 1515 Logan. What's,
We're waiting for DEP permits.
still haven't gotten them yet?
No.
Okay.
Well, I'll put a call into them the next couple of days to find out where the status. Last time, when we were looking for the bridge at Kramer Court,
Yep.
they were nice enough to tell us it was like 3 or 4 weeks away, and they did live up to that date. So we'll
Okay.
get a call them to see if they give us a time frame on 1515 Logan. It's been in there for it's been in there about the same time as Kramer Court has.
Right,
It was submitted just after that, so it should be pretty soon.
okay. Oh, okay, yeah, Kramer Court. So they were submitted, yeah, so that should
It
definitely
should be pretty
be
close.
coming through
Yeah.
relatively quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then just to follow up on the pond things, we had a meeting with the county, and the Deal Lake Commission, and the Deal Lake Alliance, and they were talking about expanding the project at the county there, because the county did commit to doing the work, but
On which piece?
they want to do Terrace Pond.
Okay,
On
They want
the
to do about
non-golf
350
course side.
feet of Terrace Pond.
okay,
And that's essentially I don't know if you've been on a golf course, but it's about the length of where the third tee to the
Right.
pond is.
I think we
Right.
all looked at it when we went to visit that site at Deal
I was
Lake.
not there.
Oh, you weren't there?
I was at the thing, but I didn't take the
Go
tour.
down, okay.
But they want to do that. In the meeting, we discussed there'd be additional testing that has to be done of all that soil, and then we need a location to dispose of all that soil. So as we kind of started out, I was kind of tasked with the fact that I was going to do an action plan to show the access roads that would be needed to get in there and dredge that area. And then we would kind of figure out, based on then, what the cost. I kind of gave them an estimated cost of about $100,000 through the testing of the soil and get that all worked out. But we do not have that in our capital budget. And kind of through the grapevine, I heard that the Deal Lake Alliance has quite a bit of money. So
It's
maybe we can-
reserved for the Green Acre funds. I spoke with Deal Lake, so we don't, that's not Green Acres. It's the grant that they got is specifically for Green Acres.
And how much is that grant?
It was a matching grant of 44K or 40-some K. And then, so the max that they would have is like 80K.
what do they get to do with that money?
But to improve Green Acres, so like the park that they helped build,
Yeah. Yeah,
The
on
golf course is-
improving access to Deal Lake enjoyment.
Right.
So Green Acres, improving Green Acres around the lake.
okay.
Get some over back.
Yeah.
It's pretty broad?
Good idea.
What,
It's pretty broad?
in what you can use
What you
that
can
for?
use the money for the recreation and things of that?
Well,
nature?
it has to be used on Green Acres, and
On Green
they were
Acres.
planning
I think
to
the
do
golf
an
course was-
improvement at the
Purchased with Green Acres money.
golf course was improved, okay,
So we have Green Acres property.
okay. Right, so maybe it could apply
Yeah,
then. Maybe it
yeah.
could apply to the soil
Treasure, yeah,
testing of.
Because it's
the-
beautifying a Green Acre piece of property.
Okay, all right, so we can talk about that.
Are we expecting that the soil's gonna be dirty?
No. Well, the problem is it's gonna be the same. What happened is the
Just the
state
volume.
elevated, or I guess lowered, the amount of arsenic that can be used in redistributing it to like a park
Uh-huh.
or somewhere. It has to be restricted because the arsenic levels are above their new levels, which they came out about 3 years ago, which it pretty much cut it by 2/3. Because when we first tested the ponds over like the Snell's Pond and Fireman's Pond, we passed that limit. And now with the new standards, when we retested, it does not. And there's usually a couple of the phenol type things, the alcohol or the bad elements in there, but they've been below the cleanup levels so that we can reuse it on the property. So that's where.
Because we have nowhere in Ocean to bring it, correct?
Right, so the
Right.
the
We were
county.
talking about that last time.
The county will have to help
Yeah.
with locations, and I think there's some discussion about them finding locations, whether it's, I don't know exact specifics
Yeah,
about where, but,
They haven't disclosed where they would, because I know they were trying to buy an old sand pit, and they were working on that, and I don't know if they bought it yet, but there was a wall, they were trying.
They
to-
were looking at taking that property a few years back.
Yeah, one of the Clayton mines.
Right.
I was
And
thinking
usually
Dr.
just
Becker.
filled it back up with this kind of a material, which was totally usable, because it's almost like landfilling it. But I don't know where they are in that, and they're usually pretty tight-fisted on that when they have solutions, but they did say they were willing to help and they would look into it. They kind of want to get past this first step. So once we get the action plan and we find out what the volume is and then we get into the testing, maybe we can get them to help us pay testing, because if we have to wait till next year for the budgetary things for that kind of money, that could slow us down. But
Yeah.
I just think the question I have though, I don't know, with us doing that, do we still want to move forward with our piece? I think we should, because we can dispose of all our stuff on the golf course and we get our 3 ponds taken care of. And that kind of isolates us, keeps us our project instead of trying to merge in with them.
can we put money, is there money in the capital budget to kind of do it, just get it off the ground and then use other money to, like, if the Deal Lake Watershed Alliance has
for
those
terrace fund?
funds, yeah, to get,
Yes.
match us with grants or
I
something
got
like
a,
that?
I got a little bit in there
Okay.
to help us get
To
going.
get it off the ground.
We're
Be-
responsible for applying for the permits.
For permits,
things of that.
right,
And then maybe some minor engineering.
okay,
And the big chunk of it is gonna be
The soil
the
test,
testing.
right,
the lab feed.
because if we can get it off the ground now, maybe it can be combined with the project in the fall.
Yeah,
right,
I think certainly if we
time-wise.
get the action plan going, that's not a
Yeah.
problem, that's pretty easy. Then we could just identify the volume to make sure everybody's in agreement, because they weren't in total agreement what needed to be dredged. If Don was, okay, we only need to go to here, and the Lake Alliance wants to do a larger area. So once I do the action plan, we can always expand it, but I think that's a starting point to make sure everybody's in agreement before we get this off the ground.
Got it.
And then that will determine what the cost of the testing is.
And you're meeting with the county engineers next week?
Yes, just to look at the pond.
Those rescheduled, okay.
I mean, as you've seen, that whole pond needs to be dredged.
Oh, yeah.
You got like 1,500 feet of it. Don was saying only 400 feet need to be dredged. So that's, where do you stop? Because you can only satisfy 2 or 3 people versus the 6 or 7 that need to be, want it dredged. So that's where, somebody's gonna have to decide that. It's really gonna come down to where we get rid of the material, because that's the true wild card.
How much of the material there is.
Well, there's a lot of it, but
Yeah.
just where we get rid of it,
Where you
because the
get-
county's willing to dredge it and then haul it for us, but it's just, we don't have a spot to get rid of it right now. So, but that'll kind of start festering next week when we meet with the county, and the action plan will come out, and then everything will kind of be put to numbers, and that should probably pretty much get us where we want to be from the township's point of view. And that's all I had. That was enough.
Anybody? I have a couple. So,
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh. Taking over for Rob.
I still got mine though.
oh. So I'm a purveyor of Deal Road now. I go up and down Deal Road all day long, and so we have our new project here. So I have a suggestion. I don't know if it can be done engineering-wise, but as I'm coming from the east, going to the west, before Route 35, as we've now changed the lanes, we now have the turning lane, the straight lane. What happens is it seems to be coming up rather quickly. And the old days, you stayed right. Now you need to almost stay left.
Right.
There is a sign that says, with the arrows, I'm wondering if we could either bring another sign back and or paint the road
That's the answer.
with some kind of arrows, because it is working. It's just what's happening is it's catching people off guard.
Last minute,
Yeah.
I think there's kind of a twofold answer. One, I would probably like to put a sign there for now, because we've been in conversations with the DOT about the 35 Route 35 corridor. And there's a couple of things I suggested we do at that intersection would make it bad if we paint stripe, because then we'd have to scratch it off, or, take it off. But the sign would be easy to change.
Yeah.
So for right now, I'd like just to put a secondary sign further up so people realize that the 3 lanes are coming up and it will help them get in the right spot.
Yeah, I was thinking like,
The
you know.
issue is the right turn.
Yes, well, I
Yeah.
think it's, actually the confusion is, I
No
think
one's
is
seeing it until
to
they
stay.
get to the end of the corner, it's too late there.
Yep.
Right, but it's also to stay left to go straight, because you always used to go left to go left.
Correct.
Mhm.
And you never want to get in that lane because it backed up, so you always
Sure.
stay right, and then you find yourself in a right turn only lane.
Right.
So I think it's the center lane is the confusing one.
Yeah, what happens is the people that are caught on the right-hand side who need to come over are now cutting, and now we're defeating the whole
Yes.
purpose, and they're blocking the road.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that as well, so I think if we put an earlier sign, we'll put it all the way down before it even
Yeah.
widens out.
But eventually, isn't that turnoff gonna be back at Logan to
It's already
bypass
there.
all of that?
It's already there.
But are we not directing people to use that instead of going up to the light and making a right?
Well, no, it's actually not at Logan they wanted to turn, they wanted at Road A, which is after it widens.
Yeah.
Road A is about half, it's not halfway, but it's probably about 500 feet further west than where the Logan light is.
Okay,
That's the slip road.
Okay.
That's what we call Road A. That's where they want people to turn right, so they
Right.
don't have to turn right at the light.
It's the way to get into Milton.
so that's what you're saying, have the sign
Chick-fil-A.
so people get to there and not the
But I
corner.
wanna put it earlier than
Yeah,
that.
I'm also talking about when you get to the corner, because I think the problem is they still see construction signs that say, do not enter construction zone, even though it's deceiving a little bit. They
Right.
probably need some good signage there too, like, hey, you want 35
35 north, turn here.
grab this, and you can avoid the whole intersection altogether.
Yeah, I don't think the DOT won't let us put those in until
It's
there's a few
done.
more things done internal. Because we just opened up the road, I think tomorrow, they're opening up by Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Which is the exit of Road A.
Right.
So once that gets done, I think those signs will go up in the next
Yeah.
couple of weeks.
I mean, listen, knock on wood, conceptually, it seems to be working. It's definitely, it's not that the sky didn't fall. It seems to be working. I just think there's a little bit of education. Unfortunately, coming from west to east is still tough. You've got a lot of people who are coming off that hard turn, and they have to get over to Deal Road, and it's just a little bit of a game. And unfortunately, some people seem to be speeding up there. It's a little dangerous.
Well, one of
You
the
mean if
things
you're
I've
heading from
noticed is,
south?
You're heading from west to east.
And if you're coming from.
You're coming
35.
around that U-turn, and then the light comes and everybody's trying to merge in. You don't have a lot of time to get to the left-hand turn to go to that straight lane.
nobody will let you
Coming
in.
from the south.
Yeah.
The jug in.
Heading
Coming
southbound, heading
From
southbound
the
at
south,
35.
or heading southbound from the north.
Making the jug by the old
And then
50.
hit the jug handle
Yeah.
to
To go
go
east.
east.
If you want to get in the left lane there, if you got to back up down, coming from the westbound going east on Deal Road, you can't get into the left lane.
That's always been an issue, though.
Yeah.
That's not a new issue.
It's not an issue, but it's definitely more exciting now.
But
It's-
that right
I mean, I see
lane
that
goes
every day.
past,
Still have people trying to cut from, they're behind you, now they're going to the right,
Yeah, because we're
still
gonna
on Deal Road.
we're gonna put additional signs up, this is a right lane, right turn lane only.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people are gonna tend to panic a little more trying to get over more, so it might slow things down a little bit.
Signs on the ground, you mean?
Like the street signs, right,
Okay.
like just to define the lanes or one straight and a right turn only.
Right.
Because you get a lot of people that get all the way down almost to Logan, realize
Yeah.
I'm in a right
Or,
turn.
or painting on the ground, too, earlier.
It's almost predictable. You can see who needs to go straight, and it's just they wait, boom, like Holland Tunnel kind of
Yeah.
get in there quick thing, and
Yep.
it has a lot of potential to be kind of rough there.
Yeah.
Are we going to put some kind of? I see we have the cones up there temporarily where the curbing is put in to block that turn there. Are we going to put some kind of permanent?
That's the DOTs. They might be taking that out because a lot of people are hitting that.
Mm-hmm.
They should have put mountable curb there, in my opinion, but that's, they're.
A what
dealing with
curb?
that. Mountable, you can drive over, you'd raise it up, so it's like a speed bump essentially. It won't ruin your car, but it's gonna not make your day when you hit it. But we're gonna put in something similar down so they don't turn left at Road A,
Yeah.
but it's gonna be mountable. It's only gonna be about 6 to 8 inches wide. It's just gonna be a little raised, it'll go about 3 inches in the middle and be flush on both sides.
It also, I think it needs some kind of.
Theirs does, they need poles.
Yeah, they gotta have something there, because I think unfortunately you're coming down the road, I do it every day, I see it, but if you don't know it, you're like, whoa,
Especially in the
boom.
wintertime, if there's snow out there, you're not gonna know it's there.
Oh, and then wait till the plow wails into it, so,
That's why I recommend they put mountable there, because the
Yeah.
plow won't hit it, they'll just go up it.
so,
But yeah, I'll call DOT on that one.
all right. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's all yours, Rob.
All right, thank you, sir. That was one of them. Appreciate that. Greg, Deal Poplar Roller, traffic light. Any updates from the developer?
Now, I talked to the developer, and he said that the church is, the school is actually the lead on that, and he's talking to them to see if he can get the signal done first. And he said he would get back to me. So I've
Okay.
talked to him since the last meeting. I'll give him another call to give him a little nudge, but he did say he would check into that for me.
All right. And then I talked to Dave today. John had sent an email regarding that silk fence. Dave seemed to think it might have gotten resolved already. I rode by yesterday. It didn't look like it, but didn't see it today. So
It is
did they get
resolved.
that fixed?
That's the
I rode by today,
That's
it's
what
up.
I meant.
Yeah, yeah, we had a meeting, oddly enough, that independent of the emails and everything, we had a scheduled meeting for Tuesday morning with them because we've been having trouble with a contractor for about 3 weeks out there. So it just kind of all came together at the same time, but yes, they're more on board now, so we should not have any problems there anymore.
Thank you. Got a request for seems like crosswalks are the thing of the are the current fad. Somebody mentioned that they were looking for a crosswalk at Logan and Bendemeer. And the comment was, we got crosswalks up and down Logan except where the school is. And the standard answer that I've given them based on your comments and the chief's comments is more doesn't necessarily improve it because then when you got too many of them, it's not as effective. So, you could say no right out of the gate, or if that's something you want to look at, let me know. But,
I did look at it. Somebody else would ask me that question too. Now I looked there are 5 crosswalks on Logan, excluding the lights at Deal and Sunset. And one of them is at the baseball field. The other one is you're coming south is at Franklin, Roselle, Delaire, and then the last one is at Fairview. There's not one at Bendemeer where the school is, mostly because there's no sidewalk on the west side of the road. So the crosswalk there's really nobody walking over there. The road program just finished Thomas, which is just north of Bendemeer. And there's a piece of sidewalk that we put in. So there's only like 1 block of sidewalk on the west side, pretty much the whole length of Logan Road. There's little patches of it, but most of the west side of Logan Road does not have sidewalks. That's why we don't have crosswalks there, because there's technically no kids walking there. We've not had anybody ask that, other than to say there's a school down that street. There's been no.
You'd have a crosswalk to nowhere.
Right.
Apparently there are kids who walk there though. That's
Okay.
what they were saying.
All right, but
so.
then if you want, we can put one in there. I have no problem with it. Just there's
No
sidewalk
sidewalk
on the far side of it.
Yeah.
So there'll just be a landing over there. So they're gonna walk kind of on the grass or in the street to get to that spot to cross Logan, as opposed to just wherever they're crossing Logan.
Right.
Because that's gonna be the next problem is there's no sidewalk over there. Which
Yeah.
we can put sidewalk too, but it'd be better to kind of do a survey maybe through the school, find out how many kids are in the area and where they're actually walking,
Good
and
idea.
address the problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, if there's kids crossing there, then it wouldn't, because there is no crosswalk near Bendemeer.
Mhm.
The first one is probably 1,500 feet to the north at Alaire.
Mhm.
So it's not anywhere near Bendemeer.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, if you want to reach out to the school and see if they have any patterns of what kids, the volume, number of kids that cross in that area and where they're coming from.
Right. What do you think, Rob?
I don't think he's on. He didn't hear me.
Yeah, no, I heard everything. Sorry, I didn't hear the last. I didn't know that was for me. Great, thank you, Greg. I
Okay.
appreciate that. If you want to, I don't know who's going to own reaching out to the school, but I think that's great. Thank you for the information.
Yeah, I know Ken retired. I still know him. He's still in the meetings we're having with him, so
I'll give you the new BA's name and
Okay.
number.
Okay. All right.
It's an easy one for me.
So, the West Park Avenue and Lynn Drive. I keep sending emails copying you guys to Joe Torrey for the sidewalk that was redone. They redid the grate there, the drainage grate, and they used pavement instead of concrete. And now they cracked the owner's sprinkler system. So Dave told me she's got to file I forgot what the court claim or something. So
Yeah.
I let her know that. But we are getting no response from Joe Torr on them changing that from blacktop to concrete.
All right, I'll give him a call.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Hold, please. You gave me that one. If you said it, I didn't hear it. Bridge for Monmouth Road in Whale Pond.
Say that again?
The bridge on Monmouth Road, on Whale Pond, over the creek.
You'd be off of Kramer Court?
No, we were gonna put a small bridge over the creek on Whale Pond.
Oh, the sidewalk, yeah.
By the
The
park?
sidewalk, yeah. You said bridge, it threw me, because that's actually it's just a piece of pipe, it's a culvert. Yeah, we're waiting for DEP permit.
Okay.
So I'll ask him where that is when I call him for the 1515 Logan. But
Thank you.
that has been submitted for probably a month and a half now.
Hold on, I had another one for you. Striping you mentioned, 15 you mentioned, APP you mentioned, that area took care of. I'm missing something here. Hold on. Oh, the study for the crosswalk at Monmouth and South Lincoln.
That's the county's gonna do, they're supposed to be doing their study this month or next month. So when I talk to Joe Latorre, I'll make sure he's doing that.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Kelly, you got anything?
I have nothing.
Okay, okay. Greg, anything else, or are you good?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate the
Have a
report.
good evening.
You too, you too.
David,
All right,
Morale.
first up,
I'll fish.
317 Belmont. If you recall, almost when I got here 2 years ago, this was a property that wanted us, the township, to buy a property, and in light of not buying it, we
Trees
had
went
told
up,
them
or-
that we would give them some trees.
Mhm.
Rob, if you want to chime in here, because you recently ran into the owners, and how many trees are they looking for?
Well, John, this is the house where you ran away. You ran away from. In,
the one on in Colonial Terrace?
Yes. So they were looking. You have the receipt, Dave. They already bought them, so they're looking for reimbursement, folks. I want to say it's 8, maybe 10. I
That's
don't.
about right.
I don't have the receipt in front of me.
They already planted them?
Unfortunately, I didn't bring the receipt either.
Yeah, they already planted them. Well, I think, Dave, you can explain this part. Sorry to go back and forth with you.
Yeah,
I
so-
think it got lost.
Yeah, because at some point, about 18 months ago, we had said that we would do this for them, and then they were communicating with me, then it fell off, like my issue. And then, I guess instead of them coming back to me saying, hey, what happened,
They just went ahead.
they caught Councilman Chair at the door.
Mhm.
So that's how it got brought back up. But we as the township, said that we were gonna
Yeah, we were
do something
supporting
for
them,
them, and
right.
we have it in the shade tree fund.
Mhm, okay.
So
Did
my
you talk to Shade
recommendation-
Tree?
Yeah, my recommendation is to reimburse them for the 10 trees.
Shade Tree aware?
No, I didn't get that far. Y'all wanna make sure council was okay.
Did we ever agree on the quantity that they were to
Yeah, it was
I think
about
it was-
10 or 15.
So we were always on board with
Yeah,
that? Okay.
Yeah, it just, the process didn't go.
So
the
they
way
did
we
the
wanted, but-
planting and
Yeah.
they're watering them,
Yeah,
taking
because
care
we
of
were
it.
gonna do everything for them, but
Hey.
they just did it on their own. So now
Right.
instead of us actually doing it, they're looking for the reimbursement.
Sounds good.
What did they want the township to buy? They wanted to buy a piece of their property?
No, the next door property.
Oh.
To hold it, to keep it vacant, basically, because
Okay.
I think that property then abuts against the circle.
Uh-huh.
Gotcha.
Yep. So
Gotcha.
sort of barrier.
Yeah. And then across the street, then you got the Aldi's property going on.
Mhm.
So
Right.
There was a bunch of issues going on.
I gotcha.
So, not to add insult to injury,
Oh, I see.
Dave, let's totally close this out. So, they also asked that day if we would fund the cost of the fence that they also put up.
No.
I mean, I didn't see any issue with the trees. I think if we
I
start
need
doing
one,
fences,
too.
I think we're going to open up a can of worms. But I told Dave I'd bring it up today. I'm good with whatever anybody thinks. I don't have a horse on the race on this.
Yeah, we didn't have a discussion about a fence. We talked about trees only.
Yeah.
Right.
Like a pool or something, you know?
Okay.
I
All right.
don't hear anything, so I'm sensing that was a no.
Yeah, that was a no, Councilman.
That's fine. Just
Yep.
want to close the loop.
Yep,
Good on the trees.
loop is closed. Moving on
Thank
to, oh, go ahead.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Moving on to flag raising. Favorite topic, folks. We gotta close this out.
This is
Close
4
it out
years in the
tonight.
making. More than 4 years.
My recommendation is that you approve the policy that council has drawn up.
I approve.
I haven't seen the final version. I had edits or comments.
Let's go.
Nothing that was earth-shattering, let's just put it that way. I wasn't contesting
Oh, no,
anything.
I mean, I saw it, it just seemed like, it's-
Oh, you
There
saw
was
it.
two things that were
Oh, yeah,
not
yeah.
right, like, right?
it was I think mostly it was a policy,
And then we needed a form. I just pulled one off the internet. I don't know if it'll work for us or not,
All right now.
right? Well, we have to formalize the process, right?
Tracy's gonna love you.
I love her.
So, sorry, I can't see what you're doing, but I hear it. So, Matt, would you mind just in the Reader's Digest version where we left off with the policy, which one we were looking to do? I know we discussed, I just don't remember where we left it.
I thought, and I guess what the recommendation is to essentially adopt a policy that the council is going to be, they'll take applications, or any requests, but any decisions, any flag racing is going to be done by the council at the council's behest. That was it.
Yeah,
No,
to have the control.
no other putting up any kind of just saying, yeah, here's the poll, go ahead. Just everything is going to be
Has to
done
have approval
by
from
the council.
Agreed.
And just, okay, I think I'm good with that. And where did we decide where we're doing it?
No, that was never determined. I mean, you don't actually have to say set down this flagpole or
Yeah, 'cause people may request different ones.
right.
So we can, I guess, as a council, make that determination
Maybe
as well.
decide
You
where
can-
it goes too.
You can make that determination on a case-by-case
Case-by-case
basis, as long
basis,
as, I think the United States flag has to be at the top
Highest.
of anything, and then followed by the state flag.
Right.
I know we talked about dedicating a pole. Is that something we still want to do?
I think that's something that maybe we should look into when we build, eventually build a town hall, a new town hall, whenever that happens. But
Next week.
I don't
have
know
a,
if we need to
new
do that
flagpole.
right now. Do we need to do that right now?
Yeah.
I would just
Where we-
advocate an alternate
if
flag
and when
pole
We
the
can-
first
we can
one
all-
comes,
we can-
where would we
We
raise
can
it?
locate a spot. That's not hard.
I think there's one over by Human Services right now. I think we identified a couple last meeting that exist already,
What's that, Cal?
where we already have poles.
Yeah, Human Services, there's there's the Vietnam Memorial, and
We
then
have the library
over,
poles.
you got the library, you got the, Human Services. I
Can you
mean,
hear
that's-
that, Rob?
Yep.
it's
It
not a
sounds
bad
like three
area.
at least.
Yeah, it's not a bad area. It's access, people see it. There's, a lot of people in and out of there.
It would be nice to have one by the band shell too. We don't have one there now.
Yeah, you're right.
Ultimately.
Well, we do have flagging.
We get DJ's flag.
I
We
know,
get DJs.
but it would be cool to have like a
An official flagpole.
Yeah, so when we actually do the
Yeah,
Star
exactly.
Spangled Banner,
Yes, we
we
could
don't know
actually
where
have-
to look.
Yeah, where is it? Oh, I look right
Yeah,
behind.
that thing behind us.
I'll mention that tonight.
Last question, if I can. Did we decide, or do we need to decide how long it's going to stay up?
Council's discretion.
Council discretion. But I don't think we need to keep it up for ever,
Yeah.
weeks, months. It could be just a
Matt, let me
day.
just ask, if we let one stay longer than another, are we going to get in trouble?
No, again, as long as
Council
it's the council's government speech, then, you can say, we really like to leave our pirate flag up for a month and,
Only would
everything
say.
else up for a day. It's council's prerogative.
Okay.
So a question for you, Matt. I know this gets a little sticky. It's like, so, what happens if you like one but you don't like the other? I know it's council
You're
discretion.
the one you don't
Well,
like,
vote.
too much time.
But you feel that it opens the township up to any liability if, it's like, hey,
You allowed him one thing.
you allowed this guy, but not me.
Are you talking about a specific flag or time-wise? Or-
Pretty much, well, if it's all council discretion, the answer is all the above. Yeah.
This goes back to I know the question is not, but the language that was in that, the one, I think it was
California.
Yeah, which you said was at the council's discretion, which the Supreme Court felt like it was adequate language to protect.
Right, so as long as, more likely than not, you are not gonna make everybody happy.
Of course.
Somebody's gonna say, I want this flag, somebody's going to object to that same flag. So you're gonna annoy somebody, but that's what, you know, the council's gonna pick. We are picking this thing to say we support, we don't support this. Or no comment on this, it's up to you. From a legal standpoint, you'll be fine. From a annoying people standpoint, well, that's just the nature of the game.
Well, you get into government, you get what you get. So,
Okay.
all right.
Yeah,
No, how do we do this? Resolution, ordinance?
took it right from.
Stole his thunder.
Sorry, let's get it done.
All good.
I would do a resolution. I wouldn't,
Resolution.
Okay.
just because you
That's
might
fine.
want to change it.
Get on for
So
August
put it on
3rd.
for August.
Well, the
August 3rd.
councilwoman had a couple of, I don't know, did you pass this around to everybody? Or?
No, because I didn't know if I was out of base, offline.
Oh, there were a couple additions. They were just policy items that to change the policy. It was additional days, including a Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans Day.
I went through the federal, like the
Oh.
federal flag policy.
Oh, okay.
The April 9th is the Former Prisoners of War Recognition Day. July 27th is the Korean War Veterans Armistice Day. Third Friday in September is the POW MIA Recognition Day.
And they could all be going over there,
The
right?
military.
Isn't the POW
We have
usually
that-
that's
always?
constantly-
The flag
We
is
have it
up.
up all the time.
The flag is
But
up.
it wasn't in our draft as
Oh.
one of the dates, I think.
Well, I mean, because it's up always. So,
Oh,
The
okay.
flag is always up.
So it's
Yes.
moot. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. I mean, those are just whether or not you want to add them. And then the only other items, again, you want the written request from any of the council members to, 60 days in advance.
That you said that was too long.
I thought it was a little too long,
So-
but that's, again, or
Yeah.
I thought maybe 30 days in advance
Sounds good.
to,
Yeah.
Something
Fair.
standard, so it's not like coming in next week, I want this.
Yes.
Nope.
yeah.
You're outside the.
Yeah, we need at least 30 so I can get to a council
So,
meeting.
yeah, exactly, council, has to go through council,
course.
so.
Who's going to be responsible for raising the flag? Is that a DPW job? I would prefer.
Yeah.
I would prefer that.
Add that to my responsibility.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I would prefer that we take care of that versus somebody out
Yeah.
there just,
Doing it themselves.
with
Yeah,
their Hyundai out there,
totally.
No,
trying to
no,
fly
no.
a flag real
You
quick.
need, it's somebody that is an employee
Designated.
of the township.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, okay.
I was just citing laws also.
Oh, no, the third one is, do we add a statement on what types of requests will not be considered?
And you said that's slippery slope now.
It's a slippery
Yeah.
That's
slope
probably
because
yeah.
you're gonna say hate, everybody's gonna understand what hate is, but, somebody's gonna have a different definition of hate. And considering that it's all going to be this decision, you keep it
vote on it
internal.
then.
Take it
Okay.
right now. That's next.
And, okay, and then the the exact location. That's, I guess wherever you want to. You don't have to keep it at something, you could say whatever pole you want to put it on. And then the other ones were identifying government regulations. I mean, it's fine, but I think this is more gonna be an internal policy or an internal document. I mean,
Overkill.
yeah, I could always put it on, you could put it on online, on the website, that kind of thing, so.
Okay. That was it.
So last question, we don't need to justify this to anyone. Our vote is our vote. We don't have to say why we did this or why we allowed X, Y, Z. It's just kind of like when your parents said that's the end of the answer. Is that kind
Well,
of
if somebody asks
You
you,
can-
I
you
mean,
can explain your
that's
vote.
Give them the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
to
it
promote
could be as simple
community,
as-
to promote,
Yeah.
We made our decision. That's it.
Might not have been a majority vote.
Yeah.
that's true, you can say why you think so.
From a legal standpoint, no, you don't have to
Yeah.
do anything.
Explain it.
From a, hey, we really support the
Our community
XYZ,
people.
then you'd say you can explain it, but
Sure.
you don't have to from a legal standpoint. Nope, this is.
Because I could see where somebody would question and say, hey, how come we can't have that flag up here today? Whatever.
Well, I mean, if they make the request, and like, even Kelly said, if it's a federal holiday or a country or a
Like a
veteran
friendly,
stuff.
all that kind of stuff.
Right, There's
Like
really
one
gonna
we have
be
on the
no,
table right
there's
now.
really
Right.
gonna be no question on that. It's when you get into some of the wacky things.
Yeah, I'm not questioning the good things,
Yeah, well,
you know?
we may have to deal with the wacky stuff too. I'm sure other councils deal with the same thing we are. It's just we're gonna have to be the decision makers
So we
and
have a
say yay or
request
nay.
right now, though, so do we?
They what?
We have a request on the table right now, so do we wait till the 3rd with the resolution and
You
process
guys
it
are
through?
good, man.
Yeah.
That was my next gig.
Well,
There you go.
I'll wait for you
That's-
guys
I like
to say
it.
You know what?
that we're good.
That's a good question because we don't have the resolution until the 3rd. When's the request for?
August 19th, I think I
August
have my
19th.
names.
But
So
I
should
would,
be
I would
enough.
get things going now
I
with
mean-
the application, whatever.
Okay.
We
You can
could-
approve it at your next meeting.
Yeah, we
but
could
at least
approve
They can
the-
plan because they
that's
want to
true.
send out invitations.
So we can do the resolution and then do the approval after the resolution's passed.
You can do both at
At
the
the
same.
same
Right.
time?
Yeah,
Same
same
No,
thing.
no, I mean,
Yeah.
that,
you
But he'll
pass
get
that
them aligned.
resolution
Yeah,
first,
then we'll
approve
pass
it,
the next one.
And then you pass the application.
okay.
Yep. You
It's
guys
easy
are good.
enough.
Well, I'll tell you.
Good.
You guys stole my notes tonight.
You left him out earlier.
It took a
Hey, what's
while.
going on here, huh?
Oh, yeah, I don't even know what municipality
All right,
I
let's keep
took
it
that
moving.
from.
Let's go.
I got a lot to
Why
go
create the
today.
wheel, right?
Let's go.
All right, live streaming council meetings. We are in position to do that. My proposed start date is September 2023 of this year. It's gonna cost about $1,100. We have the proper camera downstairs in the council meetings to move forward already as is, but we need to get a different camera up here to be able to live stream the council.
So that's instead of the TV or in addition to the TV?
In
Like
addition
what's-
to.
In addition to the TV, people can stream it on their laptops.
Yeah, oh yeah. 'Cause
Okay.
you'll be able to live stream it, and then at the same time, Tom will be recording it too.
Okay.
So then it'll go up at a later time for people who didn't see the live stream.
Sounds good.
All good?
All good.
All right, I'm gonna find the money. You heard that, Tom? You're good. Next up is we had Ron Kirk here last meeting, and he talked about needing room and space. So my idea there, along with Ron was out at the time, with Eric, the construction department head, the UCC, we came up with a document management and records retention and disposal proposal through a state contract through a company that will basically free up a lot of space for them because they've got documents and boxes of files everywhere. They have a whole room of files. It's just taking up mad space. It's a state contract proposal. For the construction department, it's $159,000. For the planning and zoning department, it's $150,000. And then there's a $9,000 recurring annual fee for the software costs, which comes out to about a total of $318 for the initial run, and then it's like $9 a year.
That
after
includes
that.
digitizing all the files?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Talk to the CFO, who came up with an excellent idea. We can use some of our remaining $378,000 ARPA funds for this because this is an ARPA eligible contract. So without tapping into our budget capital, we can use $318,000 of the $378 of ARPA funds to move this forward if the council is in agreement. And is, excuse me, it's my recommendation that we move that way. So if you're in agreement, we will have a resolution on for the next meeting in August to get this project going so they can get started to begin to digitize, get those files, and then they'll be disposed of properly.
Wonderful.
Do we retain the rights to the digital files in case we do
Absolutely.
not renew the $9,000?
Yes.
Oh, that's
It's
So
our
we
property.
could take that over?
Our property,
That's a good-
and they have to turn it over to them.
Yeah, for
you-
318,
what kind of funds did you say?
300 and some odd thousand, I
ARPA,
hope we do.
Which is the.
Well, it's
funds that
a
was going
9,000
over-
annual
9,000
maintenance fee.
annual
The
maintenance
funds that
fee.
were going
Right,
as the.
so if we go with
American
another
Rescue
contractor, if we
Plan.
wanted to
Okay.
bid it in the future, I would want to make sure that we own
Yes.
the digital
Oh,
property.
100% agree with you.
State's requirements in terms
Yes.
of, all right.
That's why when I say it's ARPA eligible, it's already pre-approved.
No, I meant for the document retention policy.
Oh, yes, it goes through, and it'll help Jesse, because Jesse don't have to do it now. They'll actually contact, what's it called,
Artemis?
Artemis, yes, and then, there's a
Right,
state
right.
department down there that deals with all that, and they file all that paperwork.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that'll help Jesse, so she won't
Which
get
is
stuck.
wonderful.
Yeah.
So let me just ask one question. What would it cost if we hired a guy or somebody and we
Impossible.
bought all the computer stuff and all that stuff? Is it comparable, or we're looking at a big savings if you actually had to hire some people to do this job? in-house?
I wouldn't, because there's several companies like this that are set up and that are ready to do it.
Mhm.
And I've done it in Roselle, I've done it in Bradley Beach, and hope to do it here, and I would use one of the state contracts in a heartbeat.
It's just a better deal.
Oh, yeah, yeah, they know what they're doing, they got all the right equipment, they got the right people, they know how to deal with Artemis.
They know how to deal with it.
the state process.
So what is the interface from, so say our building department needs to pull up some plans from God knows when,
Should be live.
they should be able to get right
Yeah,
in?
right
They
away.
can
Easier.
go iPad, they can go computer, phone.
It's great.
I was
It's
going to
great.
use phone because that's not.
Should all
big enough
work
to see
wonderfully.
Plans, but
Yeah.
it'll all be
Yeah.
digitized, and then all that space frees up,
Sounds good. I'm good with it.
and we can move some desks around.
Definitely good with
Hey,
it.
Dave,
Yes, sir.
so where are the documents residing?
Right now they're down the hall.
No, I mean, I'm sorry, after they're digitized.
Oh, after they're digitized, they
We
get
can throw them
destroyed.
out. Throw them out.
They get
No, I
destroyed.
apologize.
You mean
Where
like
are
a cloud
the digital
environment?
Documents residing.
When's
Oh,
there-
you mean on whose server?
Yes.
I believe it's the entity server, and that's why
Why it's the 9K?
somebody
Manual
asked
fee.
the question, do we get the you asked the question.
Yeah, intellectual
Yeah.
property rights.
Yeah, it'll come to us.
Right, but again, I think you just answered it. So we don't have to build out a server farm to host all these. They're hosting it for
They're
that
hosting
9,000.
it on their server. Yep, and then if we, God forbid, we decide to not go with the company in future years, because we'll all be gone by then, and then they would have to turn it over to us, and then we would probably have to house it here somewhere.
Okay, and then the 9,000 per year, that's to maintain what we've done. What about future documents?
Nope, future documents would then have to be calculated on what we amass at that point.
So it'd be above and beyond the cost we're talking right now.
Because the 9,000, that's just for to maintain the software.
But once we digitize everything up to this point.
He's
it's
talking
really
about new
gonna-
contracts coming
No,
in,
no,
so
no,
you
so
hold them
new-
for a year
so
in-house and
I
then
go-
digitize them.
I go to the planning board. I
Yeah.
bring all my files and everything. That's not
All
gonna be
14
digitized.
copies.
Yeah. Unless that department
Signs
figures
feel
out how to
Yes, I
digitize them as
just
they
have to
come
do it
in.
myself.
Well, that's
Which
what
might
I'm
be the
saying.
wave of the
What-
future.
yeah,
We're
there's-
not there yet. though.
We're not there yet.
No.
Like, we'd probably have to come up with a policy every year, we turn them in for digitization,
Yep.
or once the
And that
program
probably has to
closes,
be
30
part of
days
the
later.
Application
Yeah, I think you could put that cost onto the
to the applicant.
I mean, why,
Absolutely.
that's not, shouldn't be the township's.
But I don't
thing, you know?
want to say we're going to do that right away.
Right.
Let's get this done first, and then let
Yeah.
that. Because remember, that department's already
Yeah, because then they'll have 50 years of
Yeah.
space that we can fill back up.
exactly.
We don't want to fill
But we
it.
won't let them because we're going to put desks there and put people there to move stuff.
But it also helps us too with all these requests we're getting for
Hey, Dave?
surveys.
Yes, sir.
The only,
We can't
the
get
only
into
thing
it.
I would
Yeah.
ask,
It's been
I'm 100% on board with the concept, but given the amount of money, and I know it's extra work on us, you more than anybody, I get we can buy off of state contract. Any reason why we wouldn't take something this large out to bid to really get a competitive price instead of using the state contract pricing, which is probably higher?
No, I've done this before, and comparable. Most of the state contracts are going to be equal to.
So you don't think if we had 3 people on state contract bidding against each other, we get a lower price than the contract?
Not that much lower.
Okay.
Wouldn't, the
And I also-
level of effort wouldn't pay
Yeah,
for it.
and I also will give credence to Eric, who did his homework on this, who investigated other sources, and this is the one that he came up with. The UCC construction official.
Got it.
And then Ron co-signed it when he came back after being out.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it. You did your homework. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Next up is capital budget. It is on your agenda for tonight's approval. It is chock full of stuff for IT, police department, and also public works.
It's 24, 28.
And the companion ordinance
Oh, you mean
is
for voting
the
today?
roads improvement ordinance, along with other things,
Okay.
which also include the traffic signal for Norwood and South Lincoln through the Department of Transportation. And it also includes the flasher, yellow flashing signal on Deal Road by the overpass of 18, where there's also a possibility of a crosswalk that DOT wants to do as well.
Go back to South Lincoln and Norwood.
Traffic signal.
Yeah, no, but what's the, what do you, like, that's, discussion's been going on, obviously, for quite some time,
Since September 26, 22 is when we got the letter
Right.
from the state.
almost a year ago.
Yep.
So what's the plan right now on that? I actually received a call in regard to that.
Bottom line is we have to provide DOT with 62,500
Right.
certified funds for them to do their study. We are now able to do that once these two bond ordinances are approved. The same night you approve them, I'm going to ask for a resolution to be on for 62.5 for the traffic signal and for 25,000 for the crosswalk with flasher. And then, once I have the resolution and the funds, I'm able to send that down to DOT, and then they will begin to do their engineering on both of these projects.
Originally, weren't we looking to get Long Branch to split the
Yes.
cost on this?
Yes, but I bypassed that.
No dice?
Yeah, I just wanted to get this done without having to work. We'd probably still be working on it.
Okay.
And for 62.5, if it was 620,000,
Yeah, it'd be a
I
different
might have
ballgame.
a different thought
Right.
process.
Okay.
So once we get this going, I will send a letter over to Mayor Pallone and the administrator to let them know that we're doing this since it does affect them.
Yep.
Hey, Dave, one question on that. Again, 100% in theory approved in favor of all of that. I'm looking at the agenda. Is the actual breakout of the budget, the capital budget, in the document?
I think it's
No,
in the-
so I'm glad you asked that because I just asked Ricky the same thing. It's in a one lump sum. These projects, particularly along with the testing, NJDEP permit application, engineer analysis for, I always want to call it Lake Terrace, but it's Terrace Pond. All of that's in the bond ordinance under one lump sum, and I believe it's under the road one.
2429.
So, well, but can we get a breakout of each bond ordinance on the actual cost?
Yes, if you look at the capital one, it's there. For, when you look at IT and you look at what Public Works is getting in PD, that's broken out in the ordinance.
I don't see it. No, but not the dollar amount, the actual item.
Yes, the items are in there as well.
Okay.
It says what
Maybe
they're,
I'm not seeing, maybe
I
I'm
mean,
not seeing
well-
it. I won't waste time. I'll track it down.
yeah, I mean, if you need it, let me know. But it's in the ordinance though, broken down, like, I think it's like 3 loaders Public Works getting, along with some others, so I see some heads shaking, so I'm not off.
Yeah.
And then the roads one, it's in the professional services for these 3 projects that I just talked about. The traffic signal, the crosswalk, and the DEP application and testing for Terrace Pond. I got it.
That's 2429.
Yes. 2429 is,
It's 2429 the roads?
that's a road.
Yeah.
And the other one is equipment.
And then I've got 2 more. Just wanted to bring to everybody's attention and congratulations to Councilwoman Terry. Because you are the chair. The Multiple Dwelling Emergency Board.
All right.
I have never heard of it
Me either.
Congratulations.
in my 2 years of being here. So we figured out what this all is, and you and I will have a conversation. I do anticipate us might actually having to use this board.
Of course.
So I said,
True.
That's when you just signed.
so I said, what does this board do? Well, it essentially, if some of the multi-dwelling units, property owners are not doing what they're supposed to be doing in repairs, then the emergency board can act and we can have them, so, well, how are we gonna make them do something? Come to find out, there's money. So each dwelling, and we're looking, the CFO now is backtracking to make sure we got them all.
No,
But I have a list of at least 10 to 12 apartments, developments, etc., have deposited money to the tune of about 200,000 is sitting there.
Wow.
But obviously, you can only use what that particular department has put in, if we need to make any necessary repairs.
And anything above and beyond, do we have a recourse to go after the owner?
Well, what happens is, once we, if say, so one of them is 40 grand. Say that person, we need 50 grand in emergency repairs. We can authorize the 40, but then there's a trigger in the ordinance that says they have to replenish. So then a letter would go out.
To give us 40 back.
I don't even know whose office, but I guess mine, to tell them they need to replenish their amounts.
Okay, so we'll get together and you.
Yeah, we should just know and understand it before something happens, and then we're like, what do we do?
Right,
So you and I should.
Anything I can read ahead, shoot it
Yep,
over.
I'll send you this. This is the
Perfect.
actual ordinance.
Would this apply to things like Watermassa Gardens apartments?
Yes.
Okay.
They're probably, see, the only thing with this is their doing business name, so it doesn't say the exact,
Okay.
so I'm assuming one, and that's what Ricky
Doing
and I have
business
to
as.
track down.
And
There's
I-
a bunch of LLCs, associations,
got it.
corporations.
Dave, I identified 3 more apartment complexes that aren't on there.
Okay, and that's
Yeah,
what we wanna
yeah.
do right now, is we wanna make sure everybody's paying their
Yeah.
fair share.
That sound, I mean,
Yeah.
then there's actually something you can
And
do about
just so you know,
those
the
issues.
membership is the Township Manager, Director of Public Works, Director of Community Development, Director of Finance, and the member of Township Council, which is Councilwoman,
Nice.
who happens to be, by ordinance, the chair.
Score! Okay,
Last but not least, a good,
but this isn't like displaced persons, correct? Like this isn't. if-
no, it's
Something
for, so if somebody comes in, and says they're not fixing something.
Living conditions, okay.
And it's been 80 million years and they haven't done it, you know, obviously. we
When I
should
first
make-
read it, I thought we were
Yeah,
dealing with
we should
emergency
make a good
housing.
faith effort.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, we should make a good faith effort, call the property owner, say, hey, what's going on, call property management. And then if they don't act, then I would think we.
So this is like on behalf of the tenants, like if they're really
Yeah,
struggling
yeah.
with the repairs that
Yeah.
are
And things
necessary
happen,
for,
so-
yeah.
There's
Um,
been some chatter on the internet about this sort of thing, so,
Yeah, that's,
It's a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
tool. I
we
think it'll be a
might
good tool
even
to
see
get
some
things
folks
done.
tonight.
yeah.
Can I sign that tomorrow?
I didn't know to write it down.
Kelly, when's your
that-
first meeting?
Tomorrow.
We
Dave.
have a nice youth project in town. A resident of Wanamassa contacted us. I think everybody was on this email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Except, were you on here, Deputy Mayor? I don't.
About the Little Free Library?
Oh, you were on it. Okay. So everybody kind of knows the history behind this 9-year-old daughter. She would like to add, if parents' permission, they want to build a free library located in Wickapeco. They're willing to get the necessary permits or processes, which I'll figure that out tomorrow. And they registered with the Little Free Library Organization, which I looked up online, which is legitimate and,
Yeah.
and very nice thing to do.
Great.
So without objection from the council, I'm going to move forward with this.
Yes.
and
Move forward with that.
notify them and
Just make
tell
sure
them-
it's in a safe place where. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
that's-
we'll do all our due diligence
Yeah.
from the township perspective, make sure if there's any permits needed or whatever. Supposedly, she's claiming there's another 6 in the area.
Yeah, there's one in Joe
So
Palaio
if
Park,
there's-
there's one in West
So I need to
Island.
figure out how those
I have
got
one
there.
across the street from me.
Or did they just?
I was at the
We just did,
I
yeah.
don't think
No,
there's.
no, no,
parking.
West Allenhurst, we had some, because our former
Okay.
town manager,
Okay.
had some
Okay.
input.
So
and
there's
we
gotta be some sort of process.
Yeah, we should probably
We-
track them down where they all are, I guess.
Have a little.
They're on this site, on the website. When you go
Okay.
there, it pulls up
Oh, yeah.
all of them, yeah.
That's
Little
cool.
free library.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've seen, I saw one in Shrewsbury where they had a little free library for dogs, and it was like a collection of sticks.
Sticks, I love that.
Yeah.
Right next to it. It was really cute.
I've seen
And
that.
now, last but not least, we will be launching the new township website August 1st.
Wow.
I'm done.
Let's celebrate
I made
with
it.
fireworks.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And kudos to Tracy, who's been working very
Thank you,
diligently
Tracy.
on getting that going.
That's
Good.
awesome.
User friendly, I hope.
Oh, I
Dave,
think
we can go around the horn real quick, but it's 6:20. I don't know how much we have for closed session. Do
I
we
got
have
one minor.
one minor, one couple things? Okay.
Okay.
So let's go around.
Yeah,
Marge.
Just that one issue, I think I brought it up last time about the Lollipop Pond forming that.
I need people's names.
People's
the only
names, that's
thing.
all you need, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
that's,
All right, got it.
For the,
Yeah, 'cause
To
all-
clean up, like, the trails around it.
right, the lead off is gonna be
Mike.
Mike Palucci.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
only one I
I'll-
had, but I'm quite
Mike's
sure
the
it's
lead
one
off.
I'll
and then-
call him and then,
Call Mike, let him create that committee,
List,
and
okay.
then they get it. The only thing was Greg wants to be part
Yep.
of what what they're gonna do. He wants to make sure that the trimming of the trails are done correctly without, ruining them, so.
I mean, just the names, we can create it as an ad hoc committee.
Yeah.
And say that any
Palutis is the
actions-
lead. He's the
Well, any
lead off.
actions will have to be taken with the okay of the township engineer.
And Margie, if you wanna kind of oversee that,
Yeah.
that'd be great with
Yep.
Mike. He's been asking for this for a while. I
Yeah.
think it's a great idea to.
I just lost track of what the next
Dave,
formal
do you
step would
remember
be.
that trail years when you lived over on that side that used to
Yeah,
go
used to cut
behind?
through and
Yeah.
get from one side of thing, one side of town.
Yeah,
to
it'll
the
be
other.
cool.
Yeah.
Park
Margie,
road.
anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay, Dave?
Everything I had was about the 35 corridor there, so I'm good. Thank you, Greg Blash.
Kelly?
Ron had talked about wanting to meet like every 2 weeks to try and clear the backlog between the zoning and the planning. Did he ever say anything about that?
I was talking about, instead of having one meeting a month, he wanted to clear up the backlog.
right,
and
right,
Potentially
right.
do
That's
two
right.
meetings so we can push some stuff through.
Oh, but that goes back to that joint.
The joint board, yeah.
Well, until we.
That's-
Oh, that's
well,
gonna take a while then, because we
Yeah.
have to,
Yeah.
and don't we have to do a referendum? We'd have to do a referendum
Yes.
on the November election.
So,
And we
then-
determine that by May.
So we're in July.
Oh.
But they
Are we
can't
out of
agree to
the-
meet
Yeah.
before that?
Yeah, we should be able to have an
But-
answer meeting.
But I mean, if it's that urgent, he can call a special meeting.
He can call special
Oh, good
meetings, so
point.
maybe we
Yeah.
need to say that.
So why
Yeah.
why aren't we doing that anyway? To
That's a good
clear up the
point.
backlog?
That's a good point.
Can we
Yeah.
check into that, Dave?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I
know
I
you're
haven't
on.
checked in it. I told him that before.
I know
so-
you're on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, if we're that backed up,
Yeah.
they could call for special meetings, and I mean, and council would know better than I.
Yeah.
The question there is getting quorum,
Right.
getting people to come out, and
I think we have enough members and
if
alternates
I
that
may
we should
speak
be able to do
freely,
that.
I'm not too keen on the joint board.
Okay.
'Cause that puts a lot on people to come in twice
Twice
a
a
month.
month, right.
When we're
Good
having
point.
trouble getting people to the table.
Once a
Unless
month.
you get a group of dedicated people,
Yeah.
and then you also shorten your volunteer ability,
Right.
because now you're cutting out like 4 to 6.
I mean, how long have your meetings been
Appointments.
running generally?
The planning board seems to be doing extremely well. It's the zoning board, bless you. This seems to be the one that's backed up.
That's because
Planning
nobody
board-
wants to go to the planning board.
Well,
Oh, the zoning board also is typically the
Right.
longer applications, though, also.
Right.
yeah, because the planning board's more exciting. It's something new, something exciting. We're gonna try, versus
So you don't
versus
have
zoning where you
something-
need want to put a deck on, you want to this, you need to get closer to, there's a lot of details there.
Could you have
But-
like 2 zoning boards, A and B? Like, no.
There was some conversation about,
Yeah,
It's either special meetings or go longer. And I don't know how long they're going now.
yeah, I mean, the
At
meetings,
least 11, I guess.
you
right?
can go right up, I think the last case has to be heard by 10:30 or something like that.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, so it's,
True.
Yeah,
It's a
we
drain.
we were there till 11 a couple times.
so if you're starting at 7, it makes for a long evening.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, well, as long as he has the allowance to do that. and-
Right.
That's a good
Oh, yeah, he's got the ability of getting quorum, getting people. He can
Yeah,
say,
if he
"I
can
wanna
get
do
the
a special."
manpower, he has the
If
authority.
he doesn't get the quorum from the board, then there will be no special meeting.
Okay.
There was some conversation about sharing power so that, the zoning chair would they would alternate. So the planning board chair would, 1 week or 2 weeks, the other one would do the other, so just to have some alternating.
Fresh blood.
Yeah, well, otherwise you lose the volunteerism and then you're down to nothing. So.
And the only other thing, I think it was under when Ron was talking, and I think it's to what Jack had brought up a few times, the tree ordinance is getting a little bit tougher on the enforcement of that and pulling permits and that kind of stuff for, repeat offenders or egregious offenders, like the fly-by-night or Saturdays, Sundays, because they don't think anybody's going to be out there checking their job site. So I just wanted to make sure we keep that on the radar,
So 2 things there, and if.
including the police
okay.
department. I think we said if it's
So-
that bad.
Tracy and I are researching, and we're working with Deputy Mayor on this one, to rearrange and amend and revise our current tree ordinance to a point where we can have a conversation with the Shade Tree Commission, because we gotta get them to buy into it as well.
Mhm.
The the immediate thought process is maybe we go back to the old one, but put some of the stuff from the new one into the old one to kind of get us to a place where we can kind of be amendable. So the Shade Tree Commission will have achieved what they're trying to achieve, and that administratively will be okay too.
And the council acting on the impervious coverage also is key
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah. So I think
And
the key is with this is that the people are kind of going beyond it because of certain, it's you know, they.
Yeah.
They'd rather pay the $10,000 fine.
Exactly.
Or they
yeah.
rather
We have
not
to stop
tell us,
that.
they rather not
Yes.
tell us at all, do what they gotta do on Saturday, Sunday, and holiday.
Right.
So to fix that, and I've done this in other towns too, particularly Roselle, we're about to implement it in Bradley, is that we take some of the code enforcement folks who have to enforce this, which would be Bill and
Our
Bill.
new guy.
And
He's
then
good. He's
Bill,
law
the zoning
enforcement,
officer
too.
too, could enforce it. And I've talked to him, and he said he wouldn't mind working a Saturday or a holiday,
Oh, okay.
even if
Okay.
it's for 3 or 4 hours.
Right.
And what we
Policing.
would do is rotate that. You wouldn't have to come in every weekend, but one bill come in one day, one bill come in the other day, and don't come in their regular day during the week.
Yeah.
Right,
And surprise, surprise,
Yeah.
we got you.
set the
Yeah,
tone.
Yep.
You
Not
know, the thing
tolerated.
about tree removal is the whole neighborhood knows you're getting a tree taken out.
'Cause
There's
they hear
there's no mystery. You park in 4 quadrants or, you know, whatever, it's probably pick a bunch of quadrants. You just know somebody, because first of all, you got all these trucks, all these guys, all this equipment, and the noise.
And the noise.
You know, one guy taking down one tree is not happening. I'm talking about when they're just
Right,
taking
they're
down
clearing the
trees.
whole lot.
They're there all day. You know, I drive around my neighborhood. I'm like, oh, somebody's getting tree work done. There's 16 trucks from one guy there. It's, you know what's happening.
Okay.
But people don't call it in though, so.
Well, there's also a little bit of like, you know, if I call on my neighbor when
Yeah,
it's
when
my turn.
When I do it, they'll
you
call
know,
on me.
Yeah,
Right.
That's why you need code enforcement.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
a third
Yeah, I
party.
like that.
Kel, anything else?
No, I don't know, and I don't really think it's for Dave. Do we owe the gentleman with the, fire pit a follow-up response, or our
We had a
initial
meeting with
response?
him.
We did
Oh, you
follow
We
did?
had a meeting with
In
him
person.
in
Okay.
person with the fire chiefs from 2 different,
Okay.
and went over the limitations about enforcement, you know, any kind of regulation. One thing that kind of he brought up was like, well, if there's like a time limit to the, you know, how late
To
you
the
can.
pit?
Almost
to
like a
the
sound
pit.
ordinance. right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, don't use fire pits after 10, you know, but again, enforcing it is hard because you smell smoke, they have to come out, you know, and where is the smoke coming from, and it sort of sends them on a wild goose chase. So
And you got
similar
the
concerns
Canadian
about
fire going on now,
enforcement.
so
Right.
You smell smoke everywhere.
Right, right.
So,
Or what if
So
about
really
the guy who's
tricky in
got the
terms of
barbecue
enforcement.
cooking and,
yeah,
you know,
and it might be that, yeah.
Okay,
But the fire marshal represented it as best they could.
okay. That was it for me.
Rob, you still on?
Yep, just got one. I brought it up to Dave this morning. Getting a lot of comments about summer camp buses stopping in the middle of the road, waiting 2 or 3 minutes for people to get on the bus, blocking traffic. People can't go around them. It seems to be in all parts of town. I know it's camp season. I get it. And I know it happens every year. It seems, based on comments and calls, that it seems to be more of an issue this year than in the past. I don't know what we can do, but I'm sharing.
Alright, so
Yeah, they-
what we've done, Councilman, is my office, Tracy, has called the bus companies and basically shared those comments with them, and all of them were cooperative in stating that they would try to get the drivers to move along. By them parking and idling and waiting for a kid is not against the law, so it's tough for the PD to do anything. So the best thing we could do was just call the companies and ask them that, you know, it's causing traffic issues and other issues, and if they could keep the buses moving, and they seem to want to cooperate, so let's see what happens.
I think we're all getting those calls and complaints. I did speak to the chief today when we had another discussion about some festival stuff, and he basically said the same thing, Dave, that there really isn't a lot you can do by, you know, pushing it along. I got stuck behind one the other day. It was 40 minutes coming from Ocean Avenue to Mesa. But, you know, there's a couple of things that the chief has tried, and they're gonna continue the bus, you know, obviously calling and stuff, and I have a couple people I'll reach out to as well.
Yeah, the issue is it's in front of almost every house.
Oh, yeah.
Versus
Yes.
a bus stop
It's
where
every
tons,
house.
tons of kids get off.
It's
It's like
every
literally
house.
it can be
Every
like every house.
Personal.
Yeah.
Road.
Even just coming
Concierge.
to work for me, and
Yes.
I've learned over the 2 years now, I mapped it out, I know which streets not to go down.
Right, right, right.
Oh, yeah, and don't ever leave, don't ever don't come from Ocean Avenue at 4:30, worst time ever.
Or Deal Road in the morning.
It takes me an hour.
But I know the houses in Deal Road, you can count them, it's like,
Yes.
two, all right, we're good.
It's gonna clear up now.
He's turning them on Dwight.
Yeah.
Rob, anything else?
No, that was it, thank you.
Okay, real quick, I had a conference call with the DOT with Dave and Greg and their representatives, and as Greg was talking about, we discussed the Highway 35 corridor, came up with about 5 or 6 ideas to increase the flow, fix the flow of the traffic, deal 35, West Park 35, Sunset. A few other ideas that have been floated to the DOT. Now, it was, I think, a very good meeting. It went, I thought, pretty smooth. They're going to review, and they will get back to us, and we'll have a follow-up, and I'll get back to everybody when we have the follow-up. That's all I got.
At that meeting, did you also talk smart lights?
Yes,
That Greg
we
brought up?
talked smart lights. We talked potential, or discussed the ideas were punching out at where Twin Brook is at Armstrong Boulevard. We looked at, you know, Deal Road going the other way, if there's a way we can get the third turnout lane there, similar to the way when you go west. Sunset Avenue, Greg brought up having a double left so that you got left going one way and left, you know, going the other way. So you're, Greg, he's also been reviewing the corridor as well and looking where there are areas where the flow or there's no cars, and then other times when the lights there, you know, or the green lights there's a ton. So he thinks that simple timing of the lights and different things can really add and enhance the corridor. So, you know, we're gonna stay on top of them with that because,
And that's all their dime.
well, right now they're gonna study what we brought up, and then we'll have to see where they come back. And then, you know, we will lobby our elected officials that are higher than us in the county and the state and see where we can get some help. Well, you know, we know that there's a lot of DOT funds out there right now, so let's see what we can do for Ocean Township, because it's not just about Ocean Township, and this is what I said on the meeting the other day. We're the main corridor that comes down, but everybody's got to cut through us to get to Deal, Allenhurst, Long Branch, Asbury Park. So we are the main thing that, you know, people have to cut through to get down there. If we can make it easier for our roads so that they can get to their destinations, and us get back to ours, you know, would be really help out everybody out. It's not just about Ocean Township. It's about, you know, our neighbors that we have, you know, to the south and to the east and the north. That's what I'm looking out for at this point. So, yep. That's all I got. Jack, anything real quick?
The only thing that I had left real quick, if I might,
Yes, sir.
was about the deer thing, and I can talk to you, Dave, I'll contact you. You were out a little bit when I tried to get there, you were out, and when you were there, I wasn't. But it's an important
You
thing.
come by the office
I did go
anytime.
to a Long Branch Environmental Committee, and they didn't talk about it. So I tried to find out why, and they just were like silent. But they have trouble getting people into their meetings, into their EC meetings, so. But I think it's worth continuing, and I'll try and find out, there's more than I can maybe help with by going to the other town meetings, that'll help, if that'll help you at all, so. That's all I had, thank you.
Thank
very
you,
much.
Jack.
Thank you.
Appreciate all the
Thanks,
hard
Jack.
work you
Good night,
guys are
buddy.
doing.
Thank you.
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975 permits the exclusion of the public from the meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that circumstances presently exist, now therefore be resolved by the Township Council, Township of Ocean, County of Monmouth, that the public shall be excluded from discussion and or action hereinafter specified subject matters. The general nature of the subject matter is as follows: litigation, various matters. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second?
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Navotani?
Yes. Just want to remind everybody out here that all of our council meetings will be audio and video taped, and they'll be shown on the Township of Ocean's community cable channel on channel 22, Verizon Fios, channel 77 on Cablevision. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Napolitani?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Donlin?
Here.
Councilmember Achara?
Here.
Fisher?
Here.
Terry?
Here.
Can everyone please stand for Pledge Allegiance and remain standing for a silent prayer? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied, and a copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster, posted in Town Hall and filed in the office of the Municipal Clerk on December 8, 2022. There are 2 emergency exits to my right that'll take you to the front of the building, and 1 to my left that'll take you to the rear. Please make sure that all your cell phones are turned off. If you need to make an emergency call, kindly walk outside. We are going to start with council comments first. I'm going to start down the line with Councilwoman Terry.
The only thing I have is to remind everybody about the free swimming lessons that just started this week over at the Ocean Township Recreation Center. We have partnered with a bunch of lifeguards as well as swimming instructors to offer, I believe, up to 50 children free swimming lessons for the next 4 weeks. So I'm very proud. I'm shouting out my own niece, Alex Pickett, for starting that up, but partnering with a bunch of individuals, Coach Burke, I'm drawing a blank on all the names because that's how many people I saw on Wednesday.
You had a couple of students there too. Adam Johnson was there volunteering.
So that's great, and due to the success, I know they're going to be offering it again. So great. That's it for me.
Kelly, that was fantastic. When I stopped over there, it was like unbelievable seeing.
Kid heaven.
Yeah, it was. It was really nice having the volunteers get out there and help the kids. It was a really good sight seeing your niece in there, and then seeing a couple of the kids that I knew that were helping out. It was great. Thank you, and thank you to your niece, Alex. Deputy Mayor Donlin.
I just want to say congratulations to the Ocean Township Little League District 11 champions who won the championship, the under 10 group. So congratulations to them.
Awesome. Councilman Achara.
And if you can hear me, 2 things. Italian American Festival is scheduled for Wednesday, August the 9th through Sunday, August the 13th. Largest festival in the state, open 5 to 11 each night. Come and enjoy it. Also, the Greater Ocean Township Chamber of Commerce is having their annual golf outing. It is going to be held on September the 11th this year at, in Neptune, Jumping Brook, registration, you can go to the Chamber's website. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Fisher.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I have one little announcement. I want to make a little bit of a PSA here. The internet has become the greatest thing in the world, but it's also in some ways a bit of a curse. And I think that people seem to, complain from their armchairs about this, that, and the other thing. But unfortunately, the township is not monitoring, Facebook pages like, Ocean Cares and things like that. If you have a problem, the township does have its own webpage. We also have a township manager. We have all these departments that are here to help you. But unfortunately, if you say, the roads are dirty, and you put it on the internet, everybody's like, yeah, the roads are dirty. But unfortunately, the township doesn't know the roads are dirty. So I'm asking everyone, it's as much fun as it is to probably complain on Facebook. Please contact the township. Contact the right people. We're here. These people are great at what they do. Let them do their jobs. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Dave.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to make an announcement. The township's new website will be launched on August the 1st, so everybody please tune in. And I want to give kudos to Tracy in my office, who's the Director of Administrative Services, who worked very diligently and hard on getting the website launched. So thank you, Tracy, for all your hard work.
Thank you, Dave. Matt.
Nothing.
Nada. All right. Just to piggyback off of Kelly, the swim lessons were phenomenal. You guys, I believe, sold out in an hour for the volunteerism, which was phenomenal. I ran into somebody at the beach the other day, and they said, I'm waiting for my granddaughter to get in. I go, she's not getting in, sorry. But really, really good, very popular. So, can't thank you guys enough. The new council was sworn in on Saturday, July 1st. It was a very nice event. We had a great fireworks show that evening, which was our 4th of July celebration. Jen and Mike banged it out of the park. We probably had a record crowd this year, which was absolutely fantastic. We were really pleased with everything that went on that day. And more really good things to come. We had several ribbon cuttings with new establishments in town. We did a ribbon cutting at Miller's Ale House, which is right up the street. We had Tremonto's, which is in the Wanamassas section. It's where the old Luigi's was on Sunset Avenue. Really, really nice event that they had the other day. And right after that, we had the opening of probably one of the most popular places I think that's going to hit Ocean, Chick-fil-A. So it's official. Today they opened. There were not as many. Today would have been the day to go because I don't think everybody knew it was open. The owner had texted me and he said, we weren't as busy. I said, get ready, it's coming. I mean, because you don't even really have to advertise that place. And also coming in here, we can definitely let you know, there's a Stralo's Lighthouse, which is going to be up there as well on Deal and 35. There's a Qdoba, which is a Mexican restaurant, and several other things that'll be moving in. So we're really excited about the establishments that are coming into Ocean Township, which is something that we as a council strive for our community. We want to bring more establishments that everybody can utilize on, more than once a month. Are really, really good places that we have coming in. So with that being said, let's get into our agenda here. And we will start with public questions on resolutions and vouchers. The purpose of the public portion is solely to ask questions to understand resolutions that appear on the agenda, and it's not an occasion for a public hearing on an ordinance. All questions not related to an item on the agenda should be asked during the public comments portion at the conclusion of the meeting. So therefore, if you have any questions in relation to our agenda this evening, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Agenda items only.
Where's the mic? Oh, sorry.
The agendas are right up there. There will be a second public comments section at the end of our agenda. Okay, seeing here none, can I have someone move the consent agenda, resolutions 141 through 145?
I'll move to proceed to the consent agenda.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yeah.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry? Yes. Naplatani?
Yes. Vouchers in the amount of $9,345,718.31. Can I have someone please offer?
I'll offer.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yeah.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry? Yes. Naplatani?
Yes. Individual action. Resolution 23-146. Authorize the extension of the interlocal services agreement between the Township of Ocean and the Borough of Eatontown for emergency dispatch services for a one-year period beginning July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yeah.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Donlin.
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 147, authorizing a refund of tax overpayments for the following. Block 1.02, Lot 81, in the amount of $1,964.52. Block 152, Lot 1.01, C, 6304, $418.95. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yeah.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 148, authorize the extension of the installment plan for the property owners who have not remitted their installment for the special assessment as confirmed for the following. A, March 10th, 2016, Ordinance 2189. B, July 14th, 2022, Ordinance 2339. And C, November 10th, 2022, Ordinance 2356. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 149, authorize the continuance of the shared services agreement with the Monmouth County Sheriff's Department for computer-related services to support dispatching functions for the 3-year period, January 1st, 2023 through December 2023 at a cost not to exceed $41,909 for 2023, and then a 2% increase for years 2024 and 2025. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 150, authorizing the jurisdictional agreement number 4944 between the Township of Ocean, Deal 35 Land, LLC, and the New Jersey Department of Transportation. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 151, authorizing agreements for the maintenance of the bus shelter located at 1603 Highway 35. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Okay, ordinances to be introduced this evening. Ordinance 2427, which is an ordinance authorizing the acceptance of the public access easement over a portion of Lot 19.02 in Block 33 in the Township of Ocean, Monmouth County, which is Road A, or otherwise called the Urban Jug Handle. Can I have someone please introduce Ordinance 2427?
I would like to introduce ordinance 2427.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Ordinance 2427 will have its public hearing on August 3rd, 2023. Ordinance 2428, a bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements and the acquisition of various capital equipment, appropriating $4,310,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $4,103,850 in bonds and notes to finance a portion of the cost thereof. Can someone please introduce Ordinance 2428?
I will introduce ordinance 2428.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Ordinance 2428 will also have its public hearing on August 3rd, 2023. Ordinance 2429, a bond ordinance providing for various roadway drainage, pedestrian, and parking improvements, appropriating $2,750,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,350,000 in bonds and notes to finance a portion of the cost thereof. Can I have someone introduce Ordinance 2429?
I will introduce ordinance 2429.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Ordinance 2429 will also have its public hearing on August 3rd, 2023. Ordinance 2430, which is an ordinance authorizing the enforcement of Subtitle 1, Title 39 of the revised statutes of the state of New Jersey to be applied to the property owned by West Park 35 Developers, LLC, 2105-2107, Highway 35 and 777 West Park Avenue, Block 3, Lots 13-1, 16.02 in the Township of Ocean, and supplementing and amending Chapter 12 of the revised general ordinances of the Township of Ocean, 1965, entitled Traffic. Can someone introduce Ordinance 2430?
I will introduce ordinance 2430.
Second.
Sorry.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. And Ordinance 2430 will also have its public hearing on August 3rd, 2023. Now we will open it up for public comment section. This is when you can speak about anything germane to the Township of Ocean. Again, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
How you doing, Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Ladies, gentlemen, Tom DeVito, 20 Hidden Meadows Drive, apartment 115. Today, with my friends right here, also tenants at Primrose Place. We want to thank you for seeing us. We have come to you tonight because we have questions and concerns pertaining to our rent increases and sewage payments that have been imposed on us since we have been purchased by Goldstone Management of Lakewood on 2017. We would like to know if the Township Council has a mission statement with bylaws amendments, or how will we be able to find the rules and regulations for landlord-tenant increase provisions. Since Goldstone Management has taken over, our rent has gone up 16%, and the national rental increase is 3%. Now, I've been in the building for 7 years. Other people have been there longer. Now, my first rental increase was about 10%. My second increase, as of this year, was 16% more. So it was an additional $400 a month, okay? And the above company has also implemented a $40 a month sewage fee. We never had that from the very beginning. There are 144 tenants, which brings that fee to $5,760 a month, or $69,120 a year. After calling the sewage company, we were told the cost is $33,120 a year for that property for sewage. Once again, thank you for seeing us, and I hope we can see our problems and concerns. And the committee.
So I'm going to have our attorney answer the bylaw, the first part of that piece. I can tell you that our township manager, David, I think we need to look into the sewer billing over there that they're getting, because, I mean, an individual home, you know, is a certain amount per quarter, and this goes above what we pay a quarter. And we have homes. So I think that we need to look into that for sure. I mean, I'm not the brightest guy in here by any stretch of the imagination, but I have some common sense, and that doesn't make any sense to me. So our manager will definitely look into that for us. And Matt, if you can answer that first part, that'd be great.
The township doesn't have any like landlord control ordinances.
Right. So what would be the protocol that you would use, or that I could use, that we can use to come to you and give you an addendum to whatever is in place? Because as I read to you before, the national increase is 3%.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The township doesn't have any rent control ordinance, so there would be nothing to attend or an addendum to.
Right.
That would be just whether or not the council wishes to adopt one, but you know, typically they haven't. If you're, as I said, the one thing that jumps to mind is that the DCA is a state department, community affairs, that might be looking into this.
They brought us to you.
Ah, no. Okay then. You know, that would be something I would. You know, the township manager and the council would have to talk about whether or not to institute something along those lines.
It's so important that we have something that's, you know, set up or analyzed, because right now they're just taking advantage of us completely. I mean, they came in from Lakewood, and all of a sudden, you know, everything's been increased, and we have no control. We have nothing to do. We can't do anything. So, you know, we went to the state, we went to the town, to the counties, and now we're in front of you, and we need to do something. And if you could, you know, think about it and work on it, and let us know what we have to do, it would really, really help us, because we're, you know, we're up there a little bit. You know, I'm 80, and my wife, her number's not listed, but anyway.
She's 39, right?
She's 39. And, you know, we're all in that situation. So the help that we can get, we really, really would appreciate it. So who would I be able to stay in contact with in that situation?
That would be the township manager.
Oh, very good. Thank you, Mr. Brown.
You're going right to the top.
Yep,
So my name is Tom DeVito.
got it already.
Thank you very
Just
much.
need, you don't have to say this publicly, but afterwards, if you leave me a telephone number, or email or something.
My pleasure.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Tom, thank you for your concerns. And you know, we definitely sympathize with increases like that. It does seem a bit much. We've been very fortunate with our apartment owners that, you know, do business in the Township of Ocean. We've never had a complaint like this on any of the other apartments. Really, Middlebrook, Twinbrook, Continental. We haven't heard anything like this.
We did have one.
So this is
We
the
did have one.
one other one. Oh yeah, and one in Massa, one other one.
The second one we
Right.
had. Different group, but.
So we're hearing you for sure. We will discuss this, and David will definitely find out about the sewer fee for sure. Okay, sure. Any other questions? Anybody wishing to be heard? Okay, Don, let's come on. I'm waiting. I'm waiting with bated breath. Dare I stay here, or should...
No, you should probably go, Rob.
Rob?
I'm not going to talk to you right now.
I'm leaving. I'm gonna let Don take over.
Did you ever look at the Chestnut Avenue footbridge?
Yes, we did. I went over with Greg. He's assessing it. They're also looking at a few other things in that area. He's not sure. There's a lot of moss on that.
That's not the moss. I mean, your biggest thing is your liability issues there. So when the water flows over the footbridge in the winter or the summer, in the summer you get this algae there, and people walking across are going to fall on their hands. Okay? And the same thing in the winter. You get this coat of ice there. And, you know, your biggest issue there is your liability issues, because you have to prevent the water from flowing over the top of the footbridge.
I just texted our engineer just to let him know that we need to have follow-up
That's
discussion.
the biggest issue. And then it's just aesthetic stuff. You know, the telephone poles are broken in half, and it's, you know, and all that type of. We're not looking for a big renovation. We're just looking. I mean, from your point of view, you're looking at the liability issues.
Right. Margie, do you have anything to add to that area that we were talking about, that area back there with a few different things, right? Trying to clean up and...
You're talking about where the Lollipop Pond is?
Yeah, like back in that way, because the Chestnut Bridge is kind of over in that section.
Well, is it on a road program or it's not?
I'd have to check with Greg where it is.
That's where you're supposed to do last time, John.
No. We checked. We went there to look at everything that was going on there, first of all. As for a road program...
is it part of the Chestnut Avenue Improvement Program, or is it just something that's on its own?
No, we would have to. I'd have to check with Greg on the road improvement, but the Chestnut Bridge wouldn't have been in a road improvement.
Okay,
because that's a bridge.
Public right away there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
could we
It is
potentially?
your property.
Okay.
So, you know, we're not looking for a big improvement, but the most thing is in the water flow. There is what you have to worry about.
Right.
Because people are going to slip and fall, and believe me, that footbridge is heavily used all the time. Not only by adults, but children and mothers walking their baby carriages and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Also, I heard that the deer issue was going to be brought up tonight. No, that you were going to make a decision within the next year of what you're going to do, or am I just getting artificial intelligence?
That's not artificial intelligence. We did make a commitment that within 6 months to a year we would make a decision for sure. And believe it or not, it's going to come a lot sooner than you think.
Okay.
We just had a meeting today, in fact, about completing the application. The issue is town wants a non-lethal method, which typically isn't approved by the state. So we have to go through extraordinary lengths to with people who have done this in other areas to justify it, to come up with a plan, to map out the town. It's a very lengthy process. We're in the middle of it. We had a very productive discussion today. So it's moving forward.
Well, I have a couple questions. So if you do not approve a hunt, which would be relatively cheap to do, and you approve sterilization, who pays for this? The taxpayers, or does the state or the county chip in? Like, This is a very expensive deal, and you're not even sure it's gonna work, and there's no way to monitor it even, you know, so who pays for this?
I think, Don, once let's see what happens once the application is submitted and we get our answer back. I assure you, Deputy Mayor Donlin and our township manager have been working overtime on this issue because we have made it a point that we're going to make a decision.
Because as a taxpayer, I don't feel that this is a worthy investment because I think the results are just not there to prove that it's worth the money, okay? And also, so we just had a survey done of the deer here, and there were X number of deer. And every year, deer have more deer. Only makes sense, you know? So at what point now would we have to cull the deer population just to get back to where we were a year or two ago? Is there anybody doing any research on this? Like, how many would you have to take out to just get it back to what it was recently?
We don't have a number for what it was recently. We only did our study at a one point in time, which was this past year. So we
Right.
don't
No,
have
I
a previous
understand
study to compare it
I know,
to.
but every
so-
year there's more deer.
True, but we don't know. We don't have a quantification of the increase.
Well, are you trying to get that?
Well, they did the flyover. It's public knowledge. We have 10 times the amount of deer that we should have in Playa Park alone.
And every year it
And
gets
that's
worse.
not, and Don, that's not counting the deer that are running up to the beach and Deal or, the backyard.
I'm just saying, even with
Yeah.
a hunt, I don't think you're going to make that big of a dent here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Our goal is to have a program up and running by December, January, the latest. If everything goes well,
I'm
so
just
it's
saying,
on the
as
horizon.
a taxpayer, I would be against sterilization, paying for sterilization, because I think it's a really unfounded method. There's no way to control it. There's no way to monitor it. And as a taxpayer, I would not like my taxpayers to go towards this purpose.
So Don, there's an issue and it's, it grows each and every year. We have to put a plan in place, and, I'm happy to hear that it's December, January at the latest at this point. The residents have really been on us about making a decision. We haven't made the decision up to this point, and I made it a point, on July 1st when we all got sworn in that was one thing we would do. We are making a decision and we are coming up with a plan, and the plan that goes in place is not going to be the fix in 2024. It's just impossible. This is a plan that has to be put in place. This is a plan that we have to continue, and we have to keep doing it each and every year. David has also met with other municipalities that connect to Ocean Township, because it's important that if we're doing something, they have to start looking into doing something as well.
Once somebody steps up to the plate, I think other towns will in turn.
And we're stepping up to the plate.
Well,
We're leading the charge.
And
well, I would like
Don,
to see
another thing, so that you're fully aware. I've been told, and this isn't artificial intelligence, but there's a couple of coyotes running around. Did you drop them off in Ocean Township?
No.
That was your suggestion.
If there's wolves here, I take the fifth, okay? I'm just saying I would like to see somebody come up with statistics, because we just had a survey.
Yep.
So every year the deer population is going to grow. That's a given. So
Sure, we can do a survey every year.
How much do we think it's going to grow every year, and how much do we have to cull just to even keep it?
Yeah, we can
on a
repeat the
consistent
survey this
level?
fall when all the leaves fall off, and we can do another survey to see how it's grown from last year to the following year.
Well, you should be able to do it. Just how do deer reproduce, and what's
yeah,
the odds?
You can't do it until the leaves fall.
Don, you gotta.
You can't see the deer. It's
yeah,
very
yeah.
complicated.
Right,
It's very involved.
When they do the flyover, you can't have any leaves, and that's the only way they're going to find out what happened.
I would like to see more statistics.
Yeah, so the company that we had talked to about the non-lethal methods of sterilization has done a ton of research, has a lot of statistics. We're going to invite him to a workshop meeting so we can get more information and you'd be able to ask questions.
We've had these workshop meetings before.
But not with this, with the sterilization program. So
Well, yes, we did
You'll
with
get-
the state.
we had one with the state and we had one with the presentation of other non-lethal methods, but not from the group that actually does this, who has done the research.
I'm just saying, the longer you kick the can down the road, the worse, the worse, the worse.
I
the
promise you,
problem's
we're
gonna
not
be.
kicking the can down
I
the
know,
road.
but
It's an
then it's
active,
even
long.
harder to solve the problem because the problem grows bigger every year.
Don,
It could be, if I had a magic wand and could
we
solve it like
literally,
that,
Don,
I would.
literally 2 weeks ago, this council got sworn in. Granted, a few of us have been here a few years, but there's a new leadership, and this is how we're rolling. We will make
Right.
a decision.
So-
We are putting a
So
plan
what are you
in
saying, by
place.
January 1st?
Should be. Yeah,
Oh,
I
you'll
think
have an announcement of the plan before that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
The plan will
would-
probably
would-
be being implemented by January 1st.
right. What
That's
Deputy
my
Mayor
goal.
Donald's saying is we're going to implement for 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got to do something. All right. Thank you.
You got it. Anybody else wishing to be heard? Yes, sir.
Richard Kirk, 40 South Dipmont Drive. The bridge, I would like them to come in and take out all the dead trees. The branches, everything, the overhanging branches. There's probably about...
Chestnut, right?
Yep. Well, yeah.
Well, you're talking in that vicinity, right? Right.
Well,
the footbridge.
I live on South Dipmont, which
Right.
basically is between Chestnut and Spruce.
Okay.
So the bridge is there, but there's a lot of dead limbs. So I would like to at least have them take out a couple dead trees too.
David, that's under our jurisdiction, I assume?
I'm thinking that too, as long as it's township property.
Unless it's
Unless it's
wouldn't
county.
be DLA commission, would it? Shade tree?
We'll look into it. Either
Okay,
way.
yeah, we'll look into it.
Okay.
Oh,
Now,
maybe
my
ask
other-
Bill Brooks to go out.
Right, yeah, we could have Bill Brooks go out and take a look too and assess.
Yeah. Or I'll just send
the
DPW. to
problem
get it
we
done.
have with the deer is you gotta
Cut the chase.
figure out a way to cut the population. I got 15 deer every night that look at me, and I look at them. And they have pretty much wiped out my garden, which doesn't make me happy at all. Is there a permit for landmines?
So now I've got the two guys that sit next to each other. One wants me to put coyotes in, and now I'm going to do landmines.
Landmines only in
We take mountain lions.
I got to tell you, you know what I teach? You know what I would do with you two in my class? You'd be separated.
All right, my other thing is to change the subject. I worked for the township for 22 years for the police department. I had great bosses. I loved it. I loved the township. My last year wasn't so good, but
You look great, though.
thank
How you feeling?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you feeling good, though?
Well, a lot of pain still.
Right.
You know, other than that, I mean, being hit by a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of the breaks of the game, I
Yeah.
guess. But like I said, I enjoyed it, and I thank you guys very much for hiring me back 22 years ago.
Absolutely. Thank you for your service here in the community. Anyone else wishing to be heard? Seeing here none. Did you? Yes, ma'am. If I have to sit up here, you have to come to the mic.
Thank you so much.
I'm Angela Lamo. I live in Primrose, 20 Hidden Meadows Drive. My question is, what is going on the corner of Poplar and Deal Road? What is being built?
So there's an expansion project of the Hillel School, and the first part of the project is when they tore that building down, they've got an agreement with Oakhurst Fire Department that they'll build a brand new firehouse right there on the corner. And then the expansion will come over. They're doing all the improvements. We've had several complaints about everybody seeing the dirt wash on a Deal Road. Our manager got right on that, and they put the silt fence up, so now everything is back to where it needs to be. The project's just moving along right now.
Yeah, but it seems to be moving slowly.
Well, yeah, it's not gonna not move as quick as up the street here, but it will start to move. It will start, I'm on he and I both live up that way, so we have to go by it every day. Yeah, we understand it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to be heard? Seeing here none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yeah.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for attending tonight's meeting. Make sure you turn on channel 22 or channel 77 and watch us on TV. Thank you.
Bye, Rob.
And soon to be live streamed.
You too.
See you.
Have fun.
Watch us.